Boom, and we're live. What's happening, baby?
What's up, Joe?
How are you, brother?
I'm feeling great, man. Thanks for having me.
You're looking great.
Thanks, brother.
You're looking rather large.
I threatened Joe before the show. I said, you need to start off and tell me how beautiful I am.
Strong and pretty.
Yeah.
Wait, is that your T-shirt company?
Yeah, that's my clothing company. It's all through Bunker Branding, and basically that's basically where
Try
I
to
get
keep
paid.
this like a fist from your face.
There we go. I'm just afraid everyone's going to hear me breathe like a fat guy. Like, you know.
How much do you do any cardio?
I do, most certainly. Yeah. Have you watched Strongman on ESPN? So, like, when you pull a truck that's 70,000 pounds and you pull it for 100 feet with a harness restraining your chest, like not expulsion, but your chest expansion, that's the hardest cardio I've ever done. I played football for a long time, so I mean,
I can only imagine. But I was thinking that like you have to have some cardiovascular strength to do some of those routines, some of the different challenges that you guys have to do.
For sure. And normally, like, worlds will start with like what we call a load medley. So you'll have normally like 4 implements. Like you'll have 2 kegs and 2 sandbags, and the kegs will both weigh 265 pounds, and the sandbags will be 330. That's what we did last year, which was fucking brutal. But you'll have to load each one of them onto a platform that's about 60 feet away. So, you know, if you get going, it's not just cardio. You have to have diaphragm strength, too. Like, if you've got a weak diaphragm, you're just going to fold. I've seen guys black out, and I've seen guys black out at World's Strongest Man.
So what is it? How does one strengthen their diaphragm?
What we do, the normal exercise we did, it doesn't really have a name. It's just kind of something we made up. You'll lay on your back and you take like a sandbag and put it over your upper abdomen, and you'll expand. You'll push out really hard, and you try and hold it for like say like 2 minutes, and you learn to take tight little breaths while flexing your upper abdominals.
Whoa!
I can spoke.
So you've got the weight on you,
right?
And you just
Yep. And you stay flexed. And it's like, you know how you see fighters taking punches like just to keep tight? Yeah. Similar thing. And so like me, I have a big barrel gut, like a big chest and gut, but like it's solid. I literally get like, I'll brag a little bit. I've got side abs in the morning sometimes, you know? Actually, I got to say this. The best compliment I was ever given, I put up a post and it was me drinking coffee in the morning just naked, but like from like the hip up. And somebody gave me a compliment that's actually comes from something you said. They said, damn, Robert's got a really good dick root.
I think I invented dick root. Dick root is when those dudes, I don't understand why dudes do that. They wear their shorts so low that you basically see the top of their cock. You see the root.
They've got nothing else to show. So like,
but it's a weird move.
If you Google dick root, that's all it comes up is
just me. I think I invented it.
I appreciate it. It was a very nice compliment.
Congrats on the dick root, bro. It's just a weird thing that I mean, when did guys start doing it? I get girls doing it. I get it.
Right.
I just don't get guys pulling their shorts all the way down low like that. No. Seems like you're just asking to get pantsed. Like, I don't understand like sagging. I guess it comes out of prison culture.
From what I heard, I hate it now, but I feel like an old man because I used to do it as a kid.
Used to sag?
I grew up in an area. It was like it was a very low income like area. I don't know how to say that politically correct. We were all poor. There you go. There you
low
go.
income.
So like everybody was sagging.
Do you have like boxer shorts underneath?
Oh, for sure.
That's what you have to have.
Yeah,
right?
you learn. See, when you start off with tighty whities, and then everyone makes fun of you, and you're like, "Oh, right." So you switch to boxers.
Isn't that what a weird like style?
Yeah, I ran out of that by the time I was like 12. Though I was like, "This is ridiculous."
Well, my problem is like if somebody like grabs your pants. Like you're done. Like you're gonna have to reach for your pants, and then they're gonna punch you in the face. Like this is you're like asking to. You're like at a handicap.
Yeah. You sound exactly like my father right now. It's like exactly what he would say. You're going to get your ass kicked.
Yeah, I had friends that tried it, like even 10, 15 years ago. Like guys my age. I was like, what in the fuck are you doing?
It's too
late.
What
are you doing?
The thing now is skinny jeans and sagging, which is like, I don't know, counterproductive in a way. Like it just doesn't seem like it goes together.
Right. They're trying to combine styles. They don't understand what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they've got a good enough dick root, then maybe that's what it is. Like they just got to show the quad, like.
Do you wear regular jeans or do you wear like them stretchy type jeans?
These
like
are stretchy.
Revtown jeans? Yeah.
These are stretchy.
I
for
love
sure.
those, man.
You can
I
move.
can't go back to regular jeans.
Right.
Once you wear like Revtowns or barbells or any of those kind of you fuck all those regular jeans.
You can't, man.
No.
I mean, I ripped so many jeans just sitting down, you know?
Well, I think with your size, like it must be fucking so hard to just find clothes.
Right. And I'm built differently. Like my waist is like a 40, but my inseam's like a 34. And so normally, like if you find a 40 waist, it's like a 28 or a 30 leg. So it's like for shorter, like chubby guys. Yeah. So
yeah,
you
you can still say fat guys and no one gets mad. If you say fat girls, people are like, hey, don't be so insensitive. But fat guys, you don't catch a break. Nobody gives a fuck about fat guys.
Deal with it, fat guys. Fucking deal with it.
Fat guys are happy they're fat sometimes.
That's true.
That's the difference. Like fat girls will pretend they're happy they're fat, but they're really sad on the inside.
So there you go.
But fat guys, especially if they drink, they're like, like Bert Kreischer. Bert Kreischer does not seem to give a fuck that he's fat.
No, he does not have a problem with it.
No, takes his shirt off the moment he gets on stage.
Doesn't care. He'll do it on daytime TV.
Yes. If he doesn't, people get mad at him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't take his shirt off, people are like, hey, come on,
You're
Bert.
the fat guy that gets naked. Get naked.
Where's your shirt?
Dance, monkey.
Yeah, take it off. That's part of your gig. It's like, what's his name? Gallagher without a watermelon. Yeah. Right? No sledgehammer? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, speaking of him, what are you guys thinking for Sober October?
We really haven't decided yet. Bert wanted us to do some dance contest. He could suck my dick because he wanted to do that so he could just win without working hard.
He'll
just take his clothes off. I'm getting crazy. I'm gonna win. Ooh.
Right.
No chance.
But how about this? What if they found a way to like score a dance thing in a like, so there is no judgment and it was like points based on athletic types of movements or something like that. I'm sure like the internet could come up with a way that it's like, because I understand what you're saying, and what you're saying makes total sense about how like you earn that shit. You want it to be regulated, not someone's opinion.
Last year, because last year we literally were killing ourselves.
Yeah.
We were working out 7 hours a day. And I was just trying to grind those guys in the ground. I was like, I'm just going to take you to deep water and see.
It was awesome, man. I loved it. I fucking loved it. I couldn't stop watching.
Well, Bert was talking shit, and that's when I was like, oh, I cannot have this guy win. This is not going to happen.
That's where you fuck up.
I knew Ari was going to be a problem because he's crazy. Ari tried really hard, but he doesn't have a lot of experience grinding like that.
Right,
so he did his best. Yeah. He hung in there, but...
Well,
Bert,
you're a vet with that shit.
Yeah, Bert's trying to win this with fucking style points. He can fuck off.
No, I think if somebody can come up with a way that dancing is like regulated in a point system that does nothing to do with people's opinion, to where like it's, I don't know even how you would do that, where it's like there's an athletic type of movement that's required for this, so learning that takes this and gives you that.
Yeah, it gives you points.
That's the only way it would even work, where it wasn't based on someone's opinion.
It's too much time, too. That's the part of the problem. It's like learning how to dance. Like I did a movie once, Zookeeper, and I had to learn how to do this elaborate dance with Leslie Bibb. That shit took forever. It took weeks, and you were like constantly training and drilling and going over the movements, and I don't even like that kind of dancing. It's not like if I'm doing martial arts and I'm training, I'm interested. That's like, I love that. I want to get better at it. I didn't want to get better at dancing. I just wanted it to be over. Right. I just wanted to film the scene so I could fucking relax.
Yeah.
You know?
Move on.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're going to do. We haven't decided.
Well, we're all waiting.
Yeah. I said we should have a hold your breath competition.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Underwater.
That takes practice. I mean, I think you guys have to add something in. My favorite part of it was seeing you be like, "No, fuck this. Like, we'll all go to the gates of hell." Yeah. You know? That's me. Like, if someone, I love talking trash, right? That's my thing. And in strongman, it's not very popular. Like when I got in, oh no, they don't. It's very old school. Like you're supposed to do your work, not act like you're supposed to get paid, not act like you're supposed to want any attention, not draw any attention towards yourself.
Really?
It's like karate in like 1960. You know? Like it's old school. You know. Be respectful of the way, and I totally get that. I understand that, and I mean, I don't think anyone can get to the top echelon without having that respect. But it's ridiculous for people who've never been on that level to tell other people how they're supposed to behave.
Right.
If I want to talk shit, I'm gonna talk shit. I do. Like I was talking shit to you when we first started coming out. That's just what we do. You know?
It's fun. Talking shit is fun, and also it's like I feel like that makes it more entertaining, and we want more eyes on the sport.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what my argument about the UFC. I always like it when people talk some shit.
Right. And win or lose, sometimes you have to eat that. Like what's that kid that
Ben Askren?
Exactly.
Yeah, flatline.
That was brutal. But I mean, he also took that on the chin. He put up a post like right after that, like, well, that sucked.
Yeah. Oh, he takes it on the chin better than anybody. He's got a great personality.
Yeah.
And Masvidal said, it's not even over. Masvidal said, listen, he goes, I don't like that dude. He goes, if I see him at Whole Foods, he's getting smacked up.
Oh, shit.
Like, can you imagine the guy flatlines you with the fucking fastest ever KO in UFC history, and he's promising you that if you're looking for Brussels sprouts, he's going to smack you in the face.
Yeah. Oh, man. He already gave him 2 extra shots to the face, which, by the way, people are giving him shit for. That's his job.
Yes.
It's go till the referee stops you.
Well, especially when there's a heated contest like that where you talk so much shit, and he insulted Masvidal's manhood. He talked about his ethnicity. He said a lot of shit that really pissed Masvidal off.
Right.
And he's like, why? And he had a statement about it. It's like, why is it okay to talk all this shit online about me before the fight, but then after I knock him out, I'm not supposed to showboat? I'm not supposed to celebrate?
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
If you got a problem with it, stop them. I mean, winners get to do what they want.
He's ice cold, man. When he said, and it's not over, if I see him, he's getting smacked, I was like, oh my God.
Jesus.
That is so intense.
Savage.
That move, though, was so brilliant because Askren always grabs your legs. And if you get that close to him, he's going to think like almost like he has to grab you. It's his instinct.
And you saw him, like, I saw somebody put a video of him practicing it. He rounded it like out to the outside and then acted as if it was going to be just a normal step in. Then it's 2 quick steps and a knee. Oh, and you see how stiff he was before he hit the... I'm sure you saw, but damn, he was stiff.
Yeah, his head was up and one leg was up. I mean, he was stiff.
Yeah,
that was a... Here he is practicing.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely ruthless KO. And it's the fastest ever UFC KO at 5 seconds, but really he was out cold at 2.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it just took the ref a few seconds to get there.
Yeah, whatever, maybe 3, I guess, maybe. I mean, whatever it took for him to run over there, it seems like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It was like 1, 1,000, 2, it's over.
Out.
Yeah.
Well,
fuck.
Well, at least he got a lot of FaceTime before he got in the ring.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about fighting as big as you are?
No. I messed around with like wrestling and stuff, and I worked with John Jones with the supplement company for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I know a lot of fighters. I know a lot of old school wrestlers. I've got a lot of like friends in the industry, but I'm fucking
old school wrestlers or pro wrestlers? Pro
wrestlers, sorry. Yeah. They're a totally different thing. But
still, that would be a great avenue for you too, right?
I did think about that for a while too. It's just contractually, it's a shit show.
I'm sure like, injuries and all that stuff too would take you out of competition.
But plus, they want where I'm at now. I started and worked my ass off just to get like a little piece of that pie. And when you go to the WWE or something like that, you have to step back all the way to the ground level. You have to earn your stripes, and I understand that. But like, I have a son, I have a family, I take care of people. I can't give up everything that I've earned, like basically breaking myself for 5 years just to crawl back up and hopefully end up where I am. But it's a cool thing. I was a big fan of wrestling when I was a kid, back in the day, and like I love watching it. One of my buddies right now, a guy who was a strongman with me, his name's Braun Strowman, and he's in the WWE. He's a badass, so I love watching him do it sometimes.
Do you follow Pujanowski fighting in MMA?
I haven't seen a lot of his MMA stuff. I know him, and
he's
I've
still
watched
active.
him. He's freaking crazy, man.
He's fucking people up too, man. He's really getting better. Like when he first started fighting, he was just this giant dude who was just swinging arm punches, and if he hit you, he would fuck you up. But he got crazy and he decided to fight Tim Sylvia, who's a former UFC heavyweight champion, and Tim beat the shit out of him. It was horrible.
Wow.
Like, I don't know why he thought he could beat Tim Sylvia. He thought that Tim was washed up or older.
Right. How old is Tim now? How long has he been out of the game?
He's definitely in his 40s.
Yeah.
I don't know. How old is Tim? Tim's giant now. He's like 400 pounds.
43.
See, that's me. I'm 400 pounds. I can't.
Yeah.
I cut both my legs off to make 265.
Well, I think that's so weird that they have a 265 cutoff because heavyweight is supposed to be the biggest guy.
Right.
Like in boxing, you remember that dude Valuev who fought? Who did he fight? Did he fight Holyfield? He was like 7 feet tall, this giant ass Russian dude. Jeez. He was fucking enormous as boxer, but he was well over 300 pounds.
7 foot tall, he'd be skinny at 300.
Yeah, but he was big, man. He had gigantitis or whatever it is when you have a pituitary gland tumor.
Yeah.
What is that? See if you can find that guy. Valuev. Oh, yeah. I think he fought Holyfield. I think Holyfield beat him for the title, which is even crazier when you think that Holyfield started his career at 109. He started his career as a cruiserweight, 195 pounds.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Here's the guy. Look at
Jesus.
this. Evander Holyfield and Valuev. And this is in 2008. Look at the size of that guy, man. I mean, get the fuck out of here. He's so big, man. But I think when guys are that big, like with that giantitis or gigantitis, they're always hurting. Like everything hurts. Your knees hurt, your elbows. It's like you can't really move that good.
Yeah.
You know?
I knew a lot of guys. Andre the Giant was my hero growing up. Like he was like my first real hero. And I knew a lot of guys who had known him. I actually met Roddy Piper like 3 weeks before he passed and was wearing an Andre the Giant shirt. And we got to sit in the VIP section at a baseball game and he was badass, man. He was so fucking cool.
I wanted to get that guy on the podcast and Tony Hinchcliffe was actually trying to set it up, but then he died.
Yeah. He used to go to the Comedy Store a lot.
Yeah. He even went on stage a couple times there.
Yeah, he would just tell stories, man. He was awesome.
He was like one of the first guys also to cross over into movies. Obviously, Andre was first. He did a few guest spots in movies. Yeah. But he was a star of They Live. Remember that? Which is the John Carpenter movie. That's a great fucking movie.
Huge.
Yeah. So he was in that too.
So cool.
Yeah, he was a fun guy, man.
Yeah, we actually what we're doing, basically the reason I was here to talk about TV show, this next season 2, we're going to do, so I'll start over. The whole TV show is based on us doing acts of strength throughout, for strongmen throughout history. So
and what is the name of the show called?
History Strongest Man.
And
Strongest Man in History.
And this is an ESPN show?
It's on History, the History Channel.
Oh, it's on History Channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So one of the episodes next season we're hoping to do is Andre the Giant, which we're going to talk about. But what we do is we travel to where a historical strongman lived or where he did this famous feat of strength, and we recreate those feats of strength and we kind of talk about who they are as people and stuff and bring to light like a lot of the cool aspects that most people lose. So like it'd be cool to take somebody like Andre the Giant and like meet with his daughter and figure out like little parts that people haven't really paid attention to and bring that to light. And we did one of my favorite episodes we did was this guy Peter Francisco, who was he was born in I think it was Colombia. I might be mistaken. Peter Francisco. There we go. The Virginia Giant in Portugal. There you go. So he was born to like a wealthy family and was kidnapped and sold as a slave. And he ended up in America. And at 16, he signed up to fight for in the Revolutionary War. He was 6'7", 6'8", just this giant of a man, especially 1776.
Wow. Yeah, there was nobody that big back then.
Huge.
Like a lot of people don't realize Jack Johnson, former heavyweight champion, who they called the Galveston Giant. I think he was only 6'3".
See?
Or 6'2", or 6. Pull up Jack Johnson, see how big he was. He towered over everybody else he fought.
Yeah.
Like Rocky Marciano was 185 pounds, 189 pouns, like somewhere around there.
See?
It says he was only 6 foot tall, but
what?
That's what Google just popped up from his like Wikipedia.
I think he's a little taller than that, but he was a giant back then.
Right.
They called him the Galveston Giant. Well, everybody was so poor then; they didn't have any food.
Right.
The turn of the century.
Yeah, everybody's struggling.
6 foot tall, so
That's crazy.
See?
That's crazy.
Joe Louis was 6'2", Jack Dempsey 6'1".
Wow. And Marciano, I think, was 5'10". I believe he was 5. I think Marciano was 5'10", 185 pounds. It's crazy because Jack Johnson towered over everybody and was fucking everybody up. I mean, it's a food thing, man. No one had any fucking food back then. If you look at the size of the people that fought during the Civil War, they were tiny-ass people.
Right.
Like really tiny, like 125-pound men.
And even go back further, all the skeletons of the people.
Like, look at that picture of him. Like, they're making it out like he's giant. Like, look at the picture on the right. Like, look at his back. Look at his back.
He is pretty jacked.
But yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's definitely jacked for. I mean, look, he's big. But I mean, in comparison to a real heavyweight today,
no.
Like if you put him next to Anthony Joshua,
right?
You know, like Joshua would be towering over Deontay Wilder, who's 6'7". Yeah. Or Francis Ngannou, you know, big giant dudes, real legit giant dudes. People that weren't that big back then. So that guy, the wrestler, the Portuguese guy, I mean, that must have been unbelievable to see someone that big back then.
Insane. Yeah. And what was cool is, like, there's a lot of cool things that you find out. Like, George Washington had a quote on his gravestone that was said that there were several battles that we would not have had go the same way, and we don't know if we would have even been able to win the war if it wasn't for him. Wow. He was a one-man army. You know? And for George Washington to say that, that's huge.
That's crazy.
So it was cool to get to talk about him and all the things he had done and bring, you know, show a little love for a guy who I'd never even heard of, you know? And like there was the story, he was on the battlefield and he was pulling people off of horses and like basically beating them to death because he had ran out of bullets. And then as he goes marching up towards this guy who pulls his musket out to shoot at him and the musket misfires, he takes the musket from him and beats him to death with his own musket.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that. Or when the battle was over, they had a cannon stuck in the mud. And this is one of the feats of strength we did. They had a cannon stuck in the mud and he didn't want the British to end up with it. So he just yanks the thing off of the wheels, puts it on his shoulder and marches off with it.
How much did it weigh?
It depends. Depends on the story that you believe. When we went, I don't want to get too much into it, but when we went, that's the biggest question was, because anybody who's ever lifted a bunch of weight and thrown things around, it's like, that sounds pretty crazy, because cannons can go from anywhere of like a normal field cannon will be like 300 pounds, but they've got field cannons from that era that are 1,000 pounds. And depending on who tells the story, that's what what we try and figure out with it.
How the fuck would you even get that on your shoulder if it's in the mud?
Exactly.
So you're staying in the mud, so you don't have a firm ground to push off against.
Right.
So we're in the squashing around in the mud, and you got this giant cannon you're trying to throw on your shoulders.
No handles.
Fucking A, man.
And right after battle too. The guy was a savage. It was really cool, and like afterwards he ended up a wealthy man and was taken care of, you know, and it was a really cool story. So I was like actually pretty proud to get to tell that one. And
that's awesome.
A lot of them were like that.
How did you get involved with doing strongman competitions?
I played football. I played football for a long time, and then, you know, football was done with me, and I didn't want to have a real job. Just to be totally honest, I'm not a 9-to-5 sitting in an office guy.
I don't think anybody is.
I don't think so either. I really don't.
No, it's a terrible way to live.
And
there's people listening right now. They're like, "That's what I'm doing. Fuck this place.
Get out. Yeah. Get out while you can.
Get out."
I'm telling you, I convinced one of my best friends to quit his job and come with me to China for a week. And then, of course, you have to struggle and find your way. Yeah. But then after that, it was the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely better off being a nomad.
Yeah.
Just find something. You'll feel better, you know?
Exactly.
Like I was talking to a friend of mine today about Thailand, about it. Like when I went to Thailand last year, it kind of like reshaped my idea of like what makes people happy. Because everybody over there is wearing flip-flops and fucking shorts. Everything is real cheap. Food's real cheap. There's no extravagance, and everybody's happy. Yeah. And like my friend John Wayne Parr, he says it's the land of smiles. That's what he calls it. And I was like, okay, he lived there and trained there for a long time. But I'm like, well, I didn't get it until I went there. And I'm like, God damn it, everybody's happy. But you'll drive by, you'll see like a fucking kid, a baby, sitting on the gas tank of a motorcycle while a guy's driving, and the lady's behind him, and she's holding on to the guy's waist, and he's like got one hand on the handlebars and one hand on a baby, and I'm like, what in the fuck am I seeing? And they're wearing flip-flops.
Yep.
And they're just, everyone's happy.
Yep. I haven't been to Thailand, but it's like that in parts of China, like rural parts of China. It's a lot like that. I've seen like people tied to each other on a motorcycle just so that people wouldn't fall off.
Oh Jesus! Yeah. What a terrible idea!
It's so bad.
Bill Burr sent me a fucking horrible video yesterday of this guy. These two guys are riding like assholes on a bridge, like with motorcycles weaving in and out of traffic, and one guy loses control of the bike and he hits the cement barrier on the edge of the bridge and then goes off the edge.
Oh my God!
Yeah, just watch it, bang, woof, when he flies off.
It's like all I've been seeing the last week, too. We just did this.
Oh, here it is. Jamie got it already. Jamie's the fastest Googler in the West.
You're on it.
See, these guys are flying. Look at this.
Oh,
Boom!
oh, he touched, too. Oh.
Yeah,
you see him put his foot down and try and collect himself?
Watch, yeah, and watch when they pull over and you get to look at how far this motherfucker dropped. Like, he's done, so.
Shit.
That
guy's got his hands
Florida?
in his pockets.
Of course it's Florida.
Looks like it.
Sure it's Florida. Fucking assholes.
It's got to be Florida.
He probably landed right on an alligator.
He would have been fine.
Yeah.
But now he's shoot up.
Dude, I read a story in Florida about
It was in Tampa.
It was
Tampa, Florida.
Of course.
Called it.
Of course, man. Florida's a fucking mess, man.
Dude, I was there for 2 weeks. I was scared shitless the whole time. I've been everywhere. It's Florida. I was like paying attention to everyone walking around me.
People on bath salts eating people's faces.
Exactly.
Everything fucked up happens there. They just issued a shoot to kill on iguanas. They're trying to get people to kill as many iguanas. Apparently, there's so many iguanas there that they're digging holes under bridges and roads are collapsing. Yeah, buildings are collapsing because they're digging trenches under the foundations.
That's so crazy.
And they're big, like 5 feet long. What do you got? What's his smile on his face? Florida iguana hunter mistakes pool boy for iguana, shoots him.
Oh, Florida, you got to get your shit together, guys. Come on.
It's not going to happen. My sister lives in Florida. She's probably listening to this.
Yeah.
Laura, get out of there.
Run for your lives.
It's a fucking goofy place to live, man. It really is.
It's so crazy.
It's a goofy place to live. But for people like chaos and partying, it's fun.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, my friend Billy Corbin, he made Cocaine Cowboys 1 and 2. He fucking loves it down there, and he's a smart guy. And he lives in Miami, and he just fucking loves it. He enjoys the chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can separate yourself enough that you don't feel crazy on the inside,
I don't know how you can.
I couldn't do that here in L.A. Like, I mean, L.A. is not even a quarter of that. But like, I lived in Playa del Rey and in Sherman Oaks for 2.5 years. And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
You know what the problem with this place is? There's so much instability because there's so many people that want to be something other than what they are.
Right.
That's a big part of this place.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you live in Texas now?
Yeah.
Those are people. Yeah. Those are real people. I fucking love Texas. Yeah. They are people. They don't have any illusions of becoming famous from some fucking reality show. Or if they do, they're the anomaly. Right. They're not the norm. Out here, it seems like everybody... well, not everybody, but a giant percentage of the people that came here with some dream. They came with some dream of being an actor, or some dream of being famous, some dream of, of making it. And then they got jobs. And so there's this like weird instability and this need for acceptance and this need for recognition. And, you go to Montana, you don't get any of that.
Right.
You get regular people. You go to Colorado. Well, Colorado's now filled with stoners.
Colorado's crazy
now. It's getting a little different.
Yeah. Well, now that the shrooms are all illegal there, too, I'm wondering what's going to take.
They're trying to bring in wolves. My friend Johnny Hamilton told me they're trying to stop mountain lion hunting and trying to bring in wolves.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, well, they brought in wolves in the 90s to Yellowstone.
I remember, and that went really badly, right?
Well, it depends on who you ask. The wildlife people think it went really well because it did a lot of great things in terms of, like, it preserved a lot of plant species that were getting decimated by elk and deer. The problem is, like, it happened so quickly that the elk and deer really didn't understand what was going on until they were decimated.
Right.
And they, in some places they've lost more than 50% of their populations. But then other people say that they really should have never been that high in the first place. It's hard to understand because like you try to be objective, but I hunt and I eat a lot of elk and deer. So for me, I hear it from hunters that it's a terrible thing. But then you hear it from people that are concerned with balance and wildlife ecology and a balanced ecosystem. They think it's a good thing. And so it's very controversial. They don't think there ever should have been these giant herds of elk, like 1,000 elk in a field. They think that's unnatural. And that's akin to apparently what they experienced when a lot of the Native Americans were wiped out by plague when the European soldiers arrived. When they talk about these great herds of buffalo, like millions of buffalo, they think that the reason why there were so many buffalo was because like literally 90% of the Native Americans were killed by European disease.
Right.
And so these buffalo during that time period that happened, they just bred. Like, my friend Dan Flores wrote a book on it. Really, really interesting shit, because most people just assume that that's just how it was back then. The buffalo were everywhere, and then the white man came and shot all the buffalo. But apparently the buffalo were only all over the place because the white man came and gave diseases to the Native Americans.
Right.
It's fucking nuts, man. The balance issue. So I don't know if it's a good idea to bring wolves around people that are on mushrooms either.
That too. If it was me, I'd try and pet it, you know. Like, we're good, buddy, you know.
I'm reaching out to the forest. I have a friend of mine. She lives in a place in the mountains above Boulder. And there's mountain lions in my neighborhood. Like when I was living up there, a mountain lion ate my fucking dog. And she was like, well, I just set my intention when I go into the forest, and I let the forest know I embrace it. I'm here for you. She was a yoga instructor.
Yeah.
She might be a little crazy.
Rest in peace.
She's still alive, apparently. Still alive.
Yeah.
Satnam, namaste, mountain lion.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked out great for Siegfried and Roy, right?
There's already Colorado already has some wolves that have been in Colorado. They're entering in the fringes and from other areas where they're present, like Wyoming, you know, in Idaho. There's wolves that are neighboring Colorado that will eventually make their way into Colorado if they give it enough time. The reintroduction of wolves, the issue with that is like it's abrupt and the animals might not know what's going on, and they also make a lot of money off of their hunting, like the tags and all the economy that comes from people that hunt there. Colorado's a big hunting state, so.
It was last I heard it was the big Arctic wolves they were bringing in to Montana, right? Like the giant ones.
They're bringing in from Canada into Montana. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that's the same.
But they're just wolves. Like it's weird. It's weird. It's a gray wolf or it's a gray wolf. You know, it's just a wolf. It's like, but they are bigger when they live in colder climates because it's a mammal thing. Like mammals, like deers. If you look at a deer in Texas, South Texas, a big deer is like 100+ pounds, 150 pounds. Right. Whereas if you go to Saskatchewan, it's cold as fuck. Those deer are like 300 pounds when they're fully grown. Right. Like a big male is like a 300-pound deer, which is crazy. Yeah. They're more than double the size, but it's because of the cold.
Right. I never thought about it. That makes sense.
I love Texas.
Yeah, it's nice.
What part do you live in?
I'm in New Braunfels, which is right outside of San Antonio.
Oh, nice. I've never been to San Antonio.
It's nice, man. San Antonio is a cool city. We're actually right between Austin and San Antonio.
Oh, that's great.
So it's perfect.
I heard there's like that Riverwalk area supposed to be dope.
That's cool. I mean, that's like the tourist thing, you know. It's like it's what they do. It's like going to see the Hollywood sign. But like, if you want to have a good time, just let me know when you come to Texas, and we'll go do some redneck shit.
Well, my friend John Dudley was just there with the Black Rifle Coffee guys. Yeah. And they went to some ranch that's just outside of San Antonio that the fucking astronauts used to go to. He said there's these photos of Neil Armstrong with a fucking deer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Texas is a uniquely American place. Like I think when other people think of America, they really think of Texas.
Most people. I mean, if they're thinking America, they'll say that it'll be Texas. But if it's like Hollywood, they'll say California, you know? Right. Those are the two. Some people, like, every once in a while think New York.
But I think when people think about, like, crazy gun-toting, screaming at football, you know, like, that's Texas.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah. 100%.
Driving
proud
trucks.
of it, too.
Yeah, proud of it.
Damn sure.
Well, it's a fun place. Yeah. You know?
A lot of fun. A lot less regulations. A lot more self-accountability. You know?
Yeah. Well, they have fucking zebras and giraffes and shit everywhere. Yeah. And they're loose. Yeah. Running around.
I work with just became accredited zoo that works a lot with confiscated animals. Like they've got hundreds of animals that basically some redneck was like, oh, I'm going to have a white lion, right? Can't take care of it, so they take it.
There's these folks who they got high in this abandoned house, and they were in the house in Texas, and they're wandering around this house smoking weed, and they walked into a room with a fucking tiger in a cage.
Oh my God!
They called the police, and they had the police come and rescue this fucking tiger. But this was in an abandoned house.
Oh shit! The house. Oh my God!
Yeah, there's I mean, they weren't sure. Like, here, you find it here. Oh, you got these goddamn pop-up ads. They're getting craftier and craftier with these pop-ups.
And then you don't know if like clicking exit's going to download something nowadays.
Texas man, look at this. Texas man enters abandoned home to smoke weed, finds tiger instead.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah, he thought he was hallucinating.
Oh, man.
He said it was in a rinky-dink cage in the home's garage. But it's weird when you treat animals like property, you know, when you can just do whatever you want with them. And that's how Texas views exotics. Anything that's not like if you have white-tailed deer in Texas, they have pretty liberal tags. Like you can shoot a good number of them, but you have to get tags.
Right.
But if you have like a black buck, which is a African animal, or a Nilgai or something like that, you shoot as many as you want.
Right.
Yeah, you do whatever you want. You sell them to your friends. Yes. What does it say? It was secured only with a screwdriver and a nylon strap.
Jesus Christ. I hope this guy got some kind of fucking punishment. The guy who owned the fucking house. That's a dick move, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful tiger.
Yeah, there's something really fucked up about seeing tigers locked up. I don't even like the fact that they feed them. I mean, I feel like they should just let something loose in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Yeah. That's what I was saying. But from
Keep
what
that
I was
rolling.
told, yeah, exactly. What I was told was that was just not PC. Like it wasn't acceptable.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever see the footage of when the U.S. soldiers overtook Baghdad? They had zoos in Baghdad, and what they would do is the lions knew it was happening, so they would let these goats out, and these goats would be wandering around, and then they would open the door, and the lions would sprint because they knew exactly because it was feeding time. So these goats had no idea. They let the goats out, and the goats would be like, "Oh, just hanging out, being a goat," and then they would open up this fucking door, and U.S. soldiers filmed it.
Oh, wow.
And these lions just make this fucking mad sprint to these goats and just maul them. And that's how they ate.
People got pissed.
People shouldn't be pissed. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If you watch a fucking, you go and see a parrot eating seeds. Well, that's what it eats.
Right.
You know, maybe you really identify with seeds, and you feel like that's brutal murder of seeds.
Yeah.
But that lion wants to do that. That's what makes them a lion. It makes them happy.
And it's what they have to do, you know? It's like there's a lot more people getting publicity, not publicity, but there's a lot more people showing that side of things at least. We were talking about right before we came on, there's this Instagram page called Nature is Metal.
Yes, I love that page.
Fucking badass, isn't it?
He got taken down for a while. He got back up, but he has one of the very best pages.
But
on
how can you take it down? That's all. He had nothing to do with any of those situations. It's not like he had some kind of ulterior motive and came in and put these animals in the situation. That's just reality.
Dude, Instagram's cracking down hard lately. I don't understand it. They take all kinds of stuff down for virtually no reason. It's weird. I think all it is someone has to just complain enough and they'll take it down.
Yeah. They need to get that fixed where it's instead of like a computer. I understand it's a lot, right? It's a lot of people. So having a computer regulate that just doesn't work.
No, it's not just a computer regulate that. If someone could target you, like say maybe you could be doing something and they just decide you're offensive, and then just start make a targeted campaign to complain about your content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of those tattoo girls. She got her post removed, just having her hand above her crotch. Like covering her crotch, her legs spread, and showing all her tattoos, and they took down her page. Like she's covered up.
Makes no sense.
I mean, she doesn't have pants on, but you can't see anything.
All right.
The fuck are we doing? Isn't this America?
Censoring legs.
The fuck kind of shit is this?
Texas needs to open a new Instagram.
What's that?
I'd say that's different than what Nature is Metal is, though. He might have gotten in trouble for taking like photographers' copywritten works and reposting it.
It's not different because she's wildlife. She's being wild.
Exactly, and that's her natural habitat.
Yeah, she's being wild.
Damn it, young Jamie.
Jesus, Jamie.
No, I was talking about this with a friend of mine yesterday.
What are you, a communist?
No, like if this selective enforcement of those copyright laws, at what point, if like YouTube, some stuff is good. Even on Instagram, some stuff they let go and some stuff they don't. Yeah. At what point are people supposed to understand what is okay and what is not okay?
Right. Yeah, it's hard. Well, you also have to think of it. How many people are on Instagram? Let's just guess. I don't know. Let's guess.
I'm not
How many people you
guy.
think? I'm not either, but
fuck.
Let's say we think 100 million,
150,
way more than that.
More than that,
it's probably close to a billion, maybe
really?
500 million, like somewhere in that range, I would say.
All right, I'm gonna go with 300 million.
300 million and one, please.
And Jamie, you going with $1 billion?
Yeah.
How many people are on Instagram?
Yeah. 1 billion people use Instagram every month.
Jesus Christ! But that's 1 billion views.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what about all the people that are on that don't even use
it?
it?
So it could be like 2.
Does that include the Russians?
Yeah. 1 billion.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy.
Well, Twitter still lets porn happen. You can still have porn on Twitter.
What do they say? It's just because it has a 18 plus like warning or something like that?
Doesn't even. No. My feed, I'll be scrolling through my feed like I got to make sure my kids don't ever grab my phone because if they're looking through my phone, I fall.
That age thing might be in there though because when you sign your account, you say how old you are and like, it might just be built into the system.
That makes sense.
Yeah. A lot of those things are protections for people that are under 13. Even I don't know why there's that internet rule, but like there is some government protections they need to be watching out for the minors that are online and
that makes sense.
They can see or something.
But is that the case with like YouPorn or places like that? You just go there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But come on,
you don't know.
I have no idea. I don't know where if the kid like a kid knows what porn is.
Yeah,
I don't know the line. This I don't know the line.
Mystic YouPorn you speak of.
What is this porn?
What are you talking about?
How do you get there?
What?
You use a browser. Do you know what a browser is?
I can't spell.
Well, when the virtual porn fucking world opens up, that's when things are going to get very squirrely. Duncan said it's too real. Duncan had a HTC Vibe, and he was watching porn with the helmet on, which I only want to be a fly on the wall. Watch him standing there.
That's what I was going to say.
Standing there beating off, looking at a 17-foot tall vagina in front of him.
Oh, my God.
A haptic suit would be the next step, and those are here, so I don't know what that's like if they've synced it up.
Yeah,
I've done that. The place we talked about, the Void. You ever do a virtual reality place?
I haven't.
It's pretty dope. They have a new one that I just saw in Vegas. That some new one that looked like you go in a warehouse and you're shooting at things, but you put on this helmet and you enter into this room. And there was 2 different ones that I went on. One was a Star Wars one, and one was a Wreck-It Ralph one.
Nice.
And it's crazy, man. You look around. I mean, the entire thing is animated. Like you're above you, below you. You see the ground. You see stormtroopers. They shoot at you. You feel the laser beams hit your chest because you're wearing a vest that like vibrates when you get hit. And you walk into a room where there's fire and you feel the heat. It's getting really interesting.
When you're in that, like, say this room was empty, would you walk around as if it was like the entirety of the room?
Yeah, you could walk around. They have it set up so that they have rooms that you go into where you open doors or doors open for you, and you see the door open like in virtual reality, but a real door does open while that fake door that you're seeing opens, and then you go into it, and then they have these plastic guns that you pick up. So you actually pick up the gun, but when you're holding it, it looks like a stormtrooper weapon, or like a Star Wars weapon.
That's cool, man.
It's getting weird. It's gonna be weird. But I think what's interesting is like that kind of stuff is so much less satisfying to bring it back to like what you do than like something that you have to really work for, and it's really difficult, and it's a very visceral, real feel. Like the feeling of accomplishment you get when you do something virtual will never be able to compare with the feeling that you do when you do a physical, visceral thing, when you feel it in your fucking bones.
Yeah, you feel it. You live it. I when I was doing World's Strongest Man in Botswana, Africa, I tore my bicep, and I just was getting beat up over and over again. I was just so wrecked. My body wasn't accepting. Because I went from football to strongman, and in football we had never done deadlifts. It was all hang cleans and power cleans, which, by the way, just quick little tip, deadlifts, if you're deadlifting to be a better deadlifter, fine. If you're not doing that for deadlift's sake, then don't fucking do it. The risk to reward ratio is a joke.
For deadlifts?
For deadlifts.
Really?
And a lot of people aren't going to like that I'm saying that. But if you go into any NFL gym in any Division Division I college football gym and any athletics where people are actually getting paid and it matters what they're doing, they're not deadlifting.
Really?
They're hang cleaning and power cleaning.
Why is that?
Because the risk to reward ratio, like it's so hard to be a great deadlifter and to not risk your low back and to be using your upper back properly, and just there's so many little chances for you to get hurt. Hamstrings, deadlift. That was me. My first World's Strongest Man. I was the only rookie in the finals.
Bro,
China.
How much weight is that?
That was 880 pounds, 400 kilos. Me and my pink chucks.
And
I weigh less than that now. I'm less of a bowling ball, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they made those weights ridiculous looking too.
Right. Well, that right there is something we overhead press too. So they'll take some of the weights out of it, and it's so flimsy when you clean it. It's like basically like holding that earthquake bar that you have out there.
Oh, really?
It's just like that, and it's fucking brutal.
So they take weight out of that round thing. Like, what is in that round thing?
There's several different attachments to it. So maybe some of them way different. I've never been a part of that, but like either that or it unscrews at the end and they take weights out of it. I'm not positive. Exactly.
So you leave the NFL or you leave playing football, and were you in the NFL?
No, I had a brief shot at it. Never actually got to do it. No, I was.
So what kind of transition? Like, what is the transition to get into strongman?
Went from that to I was security guard in Santa Cruz. There's a place called the Catalyst, which is where I worked for like 6 years. It's a really cool bar/concert venue. So I was like spoiled. I got to hang out with Rob Zombie and Willie Nelson and shit. Yeah, it was cool, man. I was spoiled. Rob Zombie, I geeked out really hard for.
That's dope.
It was fun.
Yeah, we're working on getting him here.
Dude, he'd be awesome.
I'm sure he would be. Yeah,
he was really cool.
I'm sure he is. Like, he's really into horror movies, man.
Dude, and he does the best ones.
Yeah.
I love his horror movies, man.
They're wild.
I'm a huge fan. He's like the Quentin Tarantino of horror.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But it's such a weird transition, Yeah. You got going from being a rock star to a horror film director.
Yeah. He's just crazy in the head. And his brother is actually the lead singer of Power Man 5000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. In the family.
So I went to security and I was working there, and a buddy of mine who I'd played junior college ball with was just obsessed with strongman, and I'd never heard of it. I never watched it. Like when I was growing up, we were poor. Like there was 10 of us in a 3-bedroom house, and from high school on, like we didn't have electricity, so like we didn't watch TV. We would play outside. We had a trampoline.
You didn't have electricity in high school?
On the weekends, my dad worked for Caterpillar, Cashman Equipment. So on the weekends, he'd bring home a little generator, and he'd plug that in, and we'd have like 3 things we could use. But that was it. Like the hot water heater would work for the weekend, and then like maybe the TV on Saturday night or something, like TGIF or something.
Fuck.
But I mean, as a kid, it's not that big of a deal, Like you just go play with your brothers outside.
Right.
So, but like I never knew what strongman was because of that. I mean, I had no idea. So he was obsessed with it, and he kept trying to get me to do it. And then went home and Googled it, checked it out. Actually, I don't know if it was Google. I might have YouTubed it. Back then, it was who knows what we had. But I was excited and went and tried it out. And first day, the amateur world record at log press was like 320 pounds at the time. And I had no idea. But the first day I hit 330 pounds and just put it down. And I looked over at my buddy and I was like, how'd that look? And he's like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, he's been trying his whole life to do this. I just came in and took it. And then 6 months later, I was competing in England and I had my pro card. 2 months after that, I was in China at that photo right there, World's Strongest Man. I was the only rookie in the finals. So
is it the log thing? Is it the awkwardness of like holding onto a log and getting it under your hands? And
and it's actually a lot healthier for your shoulders. Instead of being, how would you call that with your hands right there? Instead of
pronated or supinated. Yeah. I forget which one is which.
We're the worst.
I like it when trainers use that though. I go, you know what you're talking
about. This guy's got his shit together. This fat dude eating French fries. So
so it's better for you to do
it's much better for your wrists and your shoulders.
Makes sense.
And also like that's what
there it goes. Jamie showing us pronated grip, supinated grip. So
neutral grip is much better for your wrists and shoulders.
Okay, like so handles like this. They say that with bench press as well.
Yeah,
like those benches. They have new bars.
The
that
football
have handles.
Bars from Rogue.
Yeah, those are dope.
Awesome. Rogue makes good equipment.
Yeah, I use all their shit. My house and here.
I know.
Then they don't pay me. It's not free. I buy all of it.
Same here. I don't work with them either, but they're the best.
Yeah, it's the best shit.
So we went to Worlds, and then I totally lost the whole getting hurt
so you
thing.
won. First of all, you beat the fucking world record log press the first
amateur
time out.
world record. Amateur world record.
Ever.
Yeah.
Your first attempt. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it was good. And then
what's the pro record?
Right now, the American record's been mine for 4 years, and that was 211 kilos, and that's
what is that? Pound
fucking 468, something like that.
Is this you here?
This is me. Yeah, this is in Australia, in front of Arnold.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Arnold was there?
Yeah, that's his show. That's his competition.
This is my competition. This is a log press right here?
Yep. That's a skinny log, too. This was a hard log to use. But this was a buddy of mine had that record, and he'd passed away, and I wanted to be the one to take it from him after he had died. And that was this moment.
Jesus Christ, that looks heavy.
And you show off a little bit, too. I like to do this after I get it up.
Wow, so that's the world record.
American record.
Who's the world record?
The world record, I like to hold it up there and talk shit. Every time you see a record broken, the guy gets it to here, and then he just throws it down.
Right.
I'm like, that don't count. That doesn't count. So the world record is 219 kilos, I believe. Something like that. Something right around there. It might have been 220.
How close are you to that?
I can break it right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. In January.
Break that shit, Robert.
I'm going to London. I'm going to give London a little introduction to Texas, what do you call it, Texas pride and
Texas powerlifting.
For sure.
Wow.
I'm excited.
So you go and you break the American amateur record right away.
Right.
First attempt out. And is that when you felt like, fuck, I could do this shit?
Yeah. I went home and I told my fiance at the time, we were living in a studio and we were just broke. And I was volunteer coaching and I was for high school, which is my passion, high school football. And then I was working at that club at night. So I didn't have a lot of time, but I was like, I can make this happen. Like with my personality and this is a platform, I can do this. And everybody kept telling me, there's no money in strongman. There isn't any. And there really wasn't. There was no money in strongman until I made money in strongman. Like
really
brought it into, there were several other people, but like what we did was we cultivated a whole new era of strongman. Was before, like even like Pujanowski was a guy who got a lot of attention because he looked just shredded, you know, jacked. But I mean, if you, he's got like a Cribs episode that they did in Poland, and he's got this tiny little house with like little knickknacks and stuff he's so proud of. It's really weird. It's crazy. But like even then, he's 5-time World's Strongest Man winner. There's really no money in that.
I would have thought he would have been balling out of control.
You would think so.
Because I know who he is. I feel like if I know who you are and you do something on TV, you must be rich.
Yeah, exactly. That's the rapper's display.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm flying in first class, and then you catch little Bow Wow in the back.
Well, I remember one of the weird things that I read about Pujanowski is how much candy he eats.
Huh.
Yeah, and that he really likes candy in between workouts because he's blowing out so much sugar that he would eat chocolate bars.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We do a lot of, I do peanut butter and honey, stuff like that. During competition, peanut butter and honey or Snickers bars.
Really?
Yeah.
And now, when you eat peanut butter and honey, you eat it with a spoon? Like, I
usually make the sandwiches. I see guys just pouring honey in their mouth, like the Russian guys. There's a Russian guy who was Russian Secret Service for a while, and like you look in his eyes, you're like, this motherfucker has done some bad things, but he's the nicest dude in the world. He's like the sweetest guy. He always comes over and talks to me and my family, and he doesn't speak good English, but he's really nice about trying to get his point across and everything. That guy's done probably scary shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a lot of that because we compete with people from all around the world. You know, and we tend to forget that everywhere else there's a lot of it's normal almost to be like that in some places,
right? To survive, and if you're a giant dude, it's probably the best way to make a living.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so they just squirt honey in their mouth?
Yeah, they'll just pour like a whole little canister of honey and just take that. You see guys do that right before they go lift and stuff. The way I grew up and the way I did things, like I was always taught, and it kind of worked with being broke, but like a warrior goes to war hungry. That's like in football, I would never eat before a game, ever. And then got into strongman, and I did that for a long time, and I got up to 440 pounds, and I would do an entire show, like 5-6 hours without eating. But then during it, I would snack a little bit, but I would never eat a meal.
Right.
But then
the resources, it eats up your resources, right?
Right. And see, for me, it felt like anything in my stomach just made me feel like slow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the same with comedy, too. I learned that from Cat Williams watching an interview with him. Just don't eat before you go on stage. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're better off being hungry.
Right. Exactly.
Hunters do that, too. The best hunters, they hunt hungry.
Yeah. See, and then, but what happened to me was I lost 80 pounds. I was 440. I lost 80 pounds. And when I got hurt in Botswana, I lost all that weight. And
just because of the bicep tear?
No, I chose to do that. See, when I graduated high school, I was 370 pounds. So I've always been a big dude. But I got up to 440, and just walking around was laborious. You know, I felt like fucking horrible.
How big were you when you did that log press?
That log press, that was like 425-ish, 430, right around that. So like I gained a little bit more after that. Everyone tells you in the sport, the bigger you are, the stronger you are. And that kind of holds true to static lifting, like kind of. It's not necessary all the time, but it kind of holds true. But we got to move, man. Like we're talking about pulling a truck and doing load events and all that stuff. When you're 440 and your body's not agreeing with that 440, it holds you back.
You would imagine the load on your joints, too.
Yeah.
Particularly lower back.
Yeah, my low back was bad.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. I got hurt, and I felt like I was done because my low back, I'd have to take me like 45 minutes to get out of bed in the morning.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was messed up, man. Really bad.
Did you get an MRI?
I never got an MRI and didn't. I'm scared to.
Suck it up.
Exactly. Just fucking roll.
How'd you fix it?
When I lost weight, it got better, and it's core strength for me now. Core strength and stretching, and also I smoke weed. Like a lot of athletes are against it, and a lot of people think that there's some like negative connotation with being like someone who smokes weed. But I mean, I'm watching guys take Vicodin like it's Skittles. I've seen guys throw away their lives, their families, their career over a bunch of pills because they didn't want to smoke, and it's crazy, you know. Crazy. Yeah. And we actually officially got World's Strongest Man to take marijuana off of the drug testing.
Oh, wait! There's drug testing in World's Strongest Man?
Yeah, every year.
Are they making sure you're on steroids? Like we have to test you.
No.
Make sure you're strong.
They
what
test
the
us.
fuck kind of bitch ass shit are you taking? Do you see?
Not enough drugs in the sky system.
Do you know who Robert Frank is?
It sounds familiar.
He's a hilarious Instagram guy.
I can't recall, but it sounds really familiar. Yeah.
He's really funny, man. He's like, he talks like this. He's really fast.
Yes.
He's got this fucking hilarious rant about someone getting the girl pregnant and taking responsibility. And he goes, I have to ask you. He goes, if you're trying to get jacked and tan, what kind of gear are you on? I have to question your gear if you're getting your girl pregnant. What kind of swimmers do you have?
That guy's got so much energy. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He's another one. He gets censored off of Instagram all the time. They pull his posts, and he's got 1 million followers, and they won't give him a fucking blue check mark.
That's ridiculous. Because people don't understand that's our livelihood. A lot of people, that's social media is how we feed our fucking family.
Well, also, he's fucking funny.
Yeah.
But he's funny with toxic masculinity.
Right.
He's toxic.
Because his opinion's different. We're not allowed to have it.
He's jacked and tan.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it right there.
Yeah. He's not tan. He's red.
Play this.
That motherfucker's red.
He's funny, man.
Yeah.
He's funny.
National Chest Day, the most glorious day of the week. And before
Chest
I get
Day.
these pecs so swole, every chick on the cardio deck will want a piece of my pole. I want to tell you a story about a bro who said I ruined his life. He said my videos give him the motivation to get juicy as fuck, and he shows up to the bar every weekend with his guns hugging the sleeves of his medium deep V-neck tees, and he's nailing hoes from different area codes like a fucking boss. Problem is, one of them called him up saying she's pregnant. Now he's blaming me for introducing her to the game. First of all, who the fuck told you to go raw dogging it? And if that's how you roll, there's plenty of other techniques for when you get the freaks in the sheets, like the sticky belly or sticky lower back. Perfect methods for when you get the hose on the sack. Or as I've been told since I was 4 years old, that in days of old and nights were bold and condoms weren't invented, they tried to suck around their and babies were prevented. And to this day, I still carry an extra sock in my back pocket, because you never know when she's gonna want the rocket. But when she does, I'm gonna blast off on that ass. Because I'm Robert fucking Frank, and I'm the women's pet and the man's biggest threat. And what my night has in store is to get some big booty whore on all fucking fours with her cheek pressed up against my bedroom floor.
Oh,
and you best believe that I'm double
You think he writes that all himself?
I think so.
Oh my god.
Swallows the goal, size of the prize. Let's game the clock, motherfucker. Let's go.
It's funny shit, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking funny shit. And he can't get approved. And they've gone through publicists. They've tried to get him what is it, recognized? What is it called? Verified. Try to get him verified. Try to get that blue check mark next to his name.
It's silly, man. I mean, I don't know how that even works. He's too big. Somebody did mine.
Too much muscle.
Yeah. I mean,
well, you can do it because you're not making fun of things. He's making fun of things and talking about getting his cock sucked.
Fucking pretty. That's
you are, and strong.
God damn it.
Strong and pretty. It's perfect.
No, it's silly that they do that, though. You know, it almost, I mean, if you look historically back, every time they've done that, those people have got more power. Like, all you're doing is feeding that guy. So in 10 years, when you look like the asshole that censored him, he's going to be 10 times that.
Well, especially now that we're talking about him.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah,
it's good that this exists, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
I think so.
A lot of people appreciate it.
Well, I think this is a weird time where you can't. You're having people dictate what you can and can't see, or what isn't valid, and it's just, that seems like nonsense to me.
Like we're moving backwards,
especially with something like that. He's being funny. Yeah. Like, he's funny. He makes me laugh.
We're allowed to make jokes. Yeah, we are.
What the fuck, man?
Even bad jokes, man.
Even bad jokes by juice heads.
Yes.
Like, it's funny.
Exactly.
I mean, he talks about being a juice head. It's hilarious.
My first introduction to comedy, I loved, growing up, I was a huge fan of Richard Pryor and all that stuff. I'm a huge fan of Carlin. Big fan of, I even liked, what was his name? Jeff Foxworthy.
I love Foxworthy.
Which was great. And my first time I ever got to see a show, I came in, I moved into LA, and a buddy of mine brought me to see you and Uncle Joey. And I was like, holy fuck. I couldn't. First, Joe comes out there, and you can't even breathe. When Joe's good, you don't get a second. It's like, goddamn.
He's an animal. He's got some shit right now. Like, if you get a chance while you're in town, he's got some new shit that we were falling on the ground crying the other night.
Oh, yeah. I'll come check him out.
He's the best ever.
He crushes. He crushes.
No one's like funnier in bursts. You might get, guys who are really good joke writers, guys who are really funny, guys who are like, they're valid in terms of our culture, but no one's funnier than Joey Diaz.
Right.
No.
The whole room, like, it was like we were uncomfortable. We couldn't stop laughing, He's so damn good. Then when you went up, it was like, it's a whole different style, but it's like super, like, along the way that I think about how, like, you're introspective and comparative with different things and stuff, and the way you make people, like, look at something at a different angle, and then you poke fun of the way that you originally thought about it. That's at least how that set was. But it was, I mean, being in a live audience is so different than watching a special on TV.
Oh, yeah. It's way better. Well, I met you in the Belly Room, which is one of the best places to do stand-up. The little last tiny room.
Yeah. I did a set in the Belly. I've been on stage once, and I did, in the Belly Room. Yeah. I went up there and it was story time, and Tate Fletcher and... oh, man, I can't remember who else. A bunch of people just kept telling me, like, just go up there and tell a story. Just go tell a story. And I was like, all right, there's no cameras in here, right? Like, I can tell a real story, or what kind of story are we talking about? But they got me up there, and I did 6 minutes. They gave me 4, and I ran on for 6. I didn't know what the lights meant. I was just talking, I didn't know. And I told a story about being in China, and we thought we were going to go to jail in China and stuff, and it was fucking hilarious.
What happened in China?
That year you saw me in the picture, we got done with World's Strongest Man, and we do like a celebration. We all go to dinner and all that stuff, and I was fucking excited because I was the only rookie in the finals. I was super excited, so I'm hammered drunk, and just like, you're in China, and then little things start to click. You see people all wearing like the communist uniform, like that they have. They were celebrating, I don't know if it's called Communism Day or whatever, but they celebrate that, and like, almost the entire city. We were in Sanya, which is a little island, which is like their kind of vacation island. And but almost everybody was dressed in those uniforms. And I'm drunk, and like, I'm looking around, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. And we get up to go, and we all get on this bus. And the guy who runs World's Strongest Man is a very old man. He's got to be like in his 90s, right? But he's needs help moving around, all that kind of stuff. We get on the bus, and we're setting up, and the camera crew left all their stuff on the front seat, which is the older guy's seat. We make sure that he has that seat. And we get in, and we're trying to finagle, like we're not finagle. We're trying to be assertive but nice to the camera crew that they have to move back, and they didn't speak English at the moment, you know, and they were acting like they just didn't understand. They were being really rude about it. And Nick Best, who's actually on the TV show with me, he came over and he picked up the camera and he was like, "You're moving," and started walking back with the camera case. And then the guy got up and started yelling at us in English. And he's totally knew exactly what we were saying the whole time. And he's yelling at us and freaking out. And Nick puts the camera down like towards the middle of the bus and then sits back down. The guy marches off the bus, comes back on the bus with 3 cops, 3 police like officers in Chinese uniforms. And I'm fucking scared shitless. Like, I've heard horror stories about Chinese prison, you know. It does not sound like the place to be. Yeah. And the guy and the cops are getting really worked up about the fact that he touched his equipment and that Nick's called him an arrogant American, all this stuff, like freaking out. And the police officer literally, nobody ever believes this, but it was like in 300, is almost fucking exactly. He goes, "This is China." And he's screaming at a bus full of the world's strongest men. He's fucking scared all of us into thinking we were going to go to jail. "This is China." And he's screaming at him. And Nick Best like kind of sits back in his seat and puts his head down and he realizes like, you know, we better shut the fuck up. So we all like kind of tucked our tails in and sat there. And then the older guy got on the bus, took his seat. Then the camera guy kind of pretended like it didn't happen, went and sat back down. The police officers left. But in the entirety of that situation, like I could have swore I was going to prison, like scared to death.
Yeah, you do not want to get locked up in an Asian prison.
No.
Especially China, right?
No, not there. And especially that spot, because like it was their vacation island, but it's fucking dirty. Like the stories you hear about kids shitting in the streets and stuff, it's not everywhere in China. But on that island, it was everywhere. Like the kids just stop, pull open their little shorts and take a shit. Ari
told me he saw that in the mall.
Inside?
People just in the mall, walking, they just stop, pull their pants down, and shit on the ground.
Yeah.
And I went, "What?"
Yep.
On the floor. Yeah.
Yep. That's what they do, man. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
So who comes and cleans up the shit?
I don't know. I don't think anybody when it's outside. It was just everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
You just see human shit everywhere.
All over the place, and it smells like it. And we almost, I think there was 30 of us, like 26 of us all got stomach flu. Or stomach intestinal parasites.
Oh, I bet everything has got shit on it.
Yeah.
If people are just shitting on the street, there's probably shit everywhere you touch.
Yep. They were burning tires for their street lights. It was nasty, man.
What?
Yep. That island, it's gorgeous too. I'm telling you, like the photos, the pictures. Sonia Island is gorgeous.
They were burning tires for street lights. Yep. And these motherfuckers want us to switch to electric cars.
Yeah.
They're over there burning tires in China.
Well, at least in 2013 they were.
Fuck, man, that is crazy.
Crazy.
Where else have you had to travel for strongman?
I've done Africa. Dubai is one of my favorites. It's creepy sometimes, like just realizing I don't like not feeling like I'm in control of what happens to me, my destiny. You know, so like when I'm in Texas, I feel great. You know, like 90% of the people around you are armed. If some shit happens, they got it.
Right.
My girl actually, like, she rides horses and she manages a gun shop. So, like, I'm straight. You know, I don't have shit to worry about. But like when you're in like the Middle East or when you're in China or anything like that, you just have this feeling inside. You're like, it could fucking go wrong quick.
Right.
But when we go to Dubai, we actually do World's Ultimate Strongman in Dubai, and we're gonna do another competition there October 25th. Which is it's the highest paid strongman show that exists. It's a really big show. It's a lot of fun. We go out there and they fucked up. They gave me the keys to a Ferrari and I just fucking went crazy. I went through downtown going like 120. There's also no cops too. So
Dubai doesn't have any cops?
No, they might have a few like in certain areas, but it's basically they use cameras everywhere. So if you speed or if anything happens or you steal or anything like that, it's all on camera. Like there's literally cameras everywhere. Whoa. And that's how their judicial system works. They don't use police.
They just say, "Oh, well, let's look at the camera footage."
Exactly.
Lock that motherfucker out forever.
Yep. And when we were there, like it was craziness going on with the royal family and stuff. Like it was pretty tense.
What was going on?
I'm going back in October. I don't know.
Oh, maybe we should probably shut the fuck up.
You
Yeah.
could Google it.
It's crazy when you look at that place, like what it was like in 1970 versus what it is now.
Right.
Like some of the before and after footage is, it's insane. There's so much wealth there.
Yeah.
I mean, they have built the biggest building in the world. They're the tallest building in the world.
Burj Khalifa. I shit my pants at the top of that building. Not literally, but like I hate heights. I went up there and like I couldn't walk.
How many floors is it?
It was like 130. I don't know, man. We get in the bottom of the elevator, and Eddie Hall, who's also in the show with me. It's me, Eddie Hall, Nick Best, and Brian Shaw.
First of all, how the fuck is that elevator going to carry all you assholes?
Right, exactly. We get in, they close the door to go up, and Eddie farts.
Oh, no.
And I was like, this motherfucker. No. 130-something floors smelling this guy's ass, you know? It was horrible. And Eddie's the worst. He's English, so he's eating like porridge and shit like that. No. You know, drinking tea and farting.
I will put Tate Fletcher's farts up against any man who's ever lived.
Really?
Oh, my God.
The worst?
Back in the day when he was fighting, he used to, I think he just overconsumed protein, but he was legendary. Yeah. Legendary. And he would laugh, and you'd be like, oh, we gotta run, because you knew the fog was coming. No. He would laugh first, and then it would come.
Oh,
like,
no.
Jesus.
That's the worst, when they enjoy the fact that you're dying.
That's Tate.
Like, God damn it.
He doesn't do it anymore, though. He must have cleaned his diet up.
He's never got me either. Never. No. I loved going out with Tate because, like, normally when I go out, especially in LA or something, I just draw way too many weird eyes, and I feel like I just like need to like hide in the corner.
Right.
But with Tate, it's like the Bash Brothers walked in.
Right.
Tate's not as big as me, but he totally normalizes me.
Right.
And it's so awesome. We used to going into the Comedy Store was my favorite, man. I used to go in there. Actually, I saw a lot of the transition from when you started coming back. And I saw the culture change, man. You did a lot for that place. You fucking changed the entire culture of that back room.
That's crazy.
It was awesome, man.
Well, that's my spot. You know, I wasn't there for 7 years.
Yeah. And I was there just before and then just after. And I used to go in there a lot. I used to go hang out a lot. And I'm telling you, just the way the comedians interact with each other is totally different. When I first went there, it was very like, oh, well, I have this and I can do this. And it was basically like Hollywood at the Comedy Store, right? You know, so like if you're like waiting to audition for a commercial and these people are all telling each other how cool they are, that's what it felt like. Then now, I mean, not now, I haven't been there for like maybe a year or two, but then after that, it became more like what we do, like we're talking shit to each other, and it's like, it's a camaraderie thing. Yeah. It's not like I'm better than you. It's like we can all talk shit. We're all on the same level, you know? That's
very important to me. I think that it probably comes from martial arts, but it's also just my own philosophy. It's like I want everybody to do good. I don't want to be the only one doing good.
Right.
I don't understand that. I've never understood that. Yeah. I want like when I go on go on the road, I try to bring the best people alive. I want everybody to have fun. I want the audience to have a great show. I want people to kill. Yeah. And I try to help comedians. I really want to support them. I try to get them all on my podcast. I try to tell everybody they're great. Try to tell everybody to go see them.
Yeah, and well, you see what that cultivates too.
Yeah,
like, everybody got better.
Yeah,
I mean, Joey probably exactly the same. He's no better. He's always been the same.
But part of when Joey became a monster is because he got all this love, you know, and he realized he could just be himself up there.
Yeah, like when he stopped taking coke and all that stuff.
Yeah, that helped. But even when he was doing coke, he was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I can't imagine him not being funny. I can hear him tell the same story 5 different times and still crack up every fucking time.
He's an American original. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of people like that guy.
Savage.
But that place, it's it's just insecurity. When people realize they're loved and that there's real camaraderie and a brotherhood and a sisterhood and that you really do care about each other. Yeah. Everybody, like that place is all hugs, man. Yeah. You go there, everybody's hugging.
Yeah, and it wasn't that way. I know. Every time I give you a compliment, I see you kind of like wince a little bit. When people like yourself, or I'm the same way. Like whenever I do something well and someone tells me, I'm like, nah. I mean, I should have done this way or this. I'm always that I should one up myself guy. Yeah. But you really changed the fucking culture there, man, and you've made a lot of people better. The same with the podcast. Big ups, man. It was awesome.
Oh, thanks, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I feel very lucky. You know, I'm a very fortunate person, so I like to spread it.
Fucking from where you started to where you are now, the hustle, man. That's inspiring. I always feel like I need to do more and I need to like extend myself in different areas and stuff. I look at like so many people out there now we actually have access to, and you can see like Jocko, like this dude's up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like complaining the fact that I only got 6 hours with this guy. You know, like you really learn your level of hustle in reality versus where you put yourself in your head. You're like, I'm killing it, I'm working so hard, there's nothing more I could be doing, and then this motherfucker's up 4 hours before you killing it.
Well, those guys, they're fuel. You know, guys like Goggins, him, Jocko, those guys, Cameron Haynes, those guys are fuel. Yeah. Like if you ever start thinking, maybe I'll slack off, maybe I'll take a day off. You look at Jocko's fucking hairy gorilla arm with that 4:30 on his Iron Man watch, and it just says attack.
That's right.
I was showing someone that today. This lady that at the clinic that I go to, she was talking about how her boyfriend's into Jocko. He goes, she'd go to his fucking Instagram page every morning, and you see that 4:30 watch, and it's like, fuck, I gotta go. I gotta get going.
Yeah, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, but it really is fuel. Like, you feel charged up. Yeah. When I listen to like Goggins talk, it's like, a lot of soft motherfuckers want you to stay in bed. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. You gotta get up and go attack. Stay hard. And you're like, I'm gonna stay hard, David. Just get up and start running.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
It's nice, man. It's cool that we actually have that nowadays.
Yeah, man. This didn't exist before. I mean, you think about before the internet and podcasts and social media and stuff like that. You had to find that inspiration. It was hard to find.
Yeah, and sometimes you'd think you'd have an inspiring person in your life, but really, in reality, it was just some shitbag who was like just close enough that it looked like that.
Right.
When you step back as an adult, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake in it. Yeah. A lot of people fake like they work hard.
Right. Actually, somebody was trying to tell me the story. I've heard you talk about it on here about that guy who pretended to be an MMA like guru or whatever and ended up murdering his girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, no, he murdered his girlfriend's husband.
Okay.
Yeah. He pretended to be a black belt. And Eddie rolled with him. And, like when you roll with somebody, there's no faking it. Like with karate, you can kind of fake it. Like there's guys that like are athletic and they can throw some kicks. Like just like learning on the streets, just hanging out with their friends. They know how to throw some kicks. So there's people that know how to throw a wheel kick that have never taken a martial arts class in their life. And if you see him throw a kick, it's like, wow, that guy's legit.
Right.
But you don't know unless you see him actually fight. So the problem with that is in sparring, a lot of karate sparring, you're kind of polite and you're not trying to hurt each other. You just like, and you could kind of fake it a little bit. You could throw some shit in the air and fake it and touch each other.
Yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, you have to roll. It's the guy's grabbing your arm, he's arm dragging you, he's taking your back. You got to defend correctly. And Eddie was like, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but that dude is not a black belt. Oh, and I'm like, really? I go like, what do you think he is? He's like, he's terrible. He's like, he has
CIA.
Nothing.
Eddie said he was a CIA.
It was before Eddie was deep into conspiracies. Back then, it was like he was like into UFOs and shit. It was barely into conspiracies. He's way off the deep end.
See, you got me into UFOs, man. That guy you was goddamn. Like, well, maybe it is true.
I'm scheduled to have a phone call this afternoon with George Knapp. He wants to brief me on all this shit. George Knapp is the guy that broke the Bob Lazar story in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And, he shares my opinion. He's like, most of this is bullshit. Most of these people are liars. Most of these people are crazy.
Right.
But there's some real shit out there too. Like a lot of these Air Force pilots that they have eyes on this fucking thing that's going 600 miles away in a second, like dropping down from 60,000 feet to 10 feet, like in a second.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. We don't know what the fuck this is. We have no idea how these things are doing this.
Right. And that's not some hillbilly, like just talking about Sasquatch.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Air Force pilots. Yeah. People who they're trained to fly jets and have gunfights in the fucking sky.
Right.
These are exceptional human beings.
Yeah.
When they see things like that, you got to go, they know what the fuck they're seeing.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Who knows? The thing is, like, every day you could go out there and look in the sky and you don't see shit. You go, there's nothing up there because you're not seeing it. But if you go to a fucking lake, you're never going to see a shark. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it doesn't mean sharks aren't real.
Right.
It's like you're looking in the wrong spot or you aren't there when they show up, but they're real. So we have enough accumulated data to know that, there are sharks. They are real, but they're not in lakes. They're in the ocean. Here's where they are. This is how you find them. Go to South Africa. Oh, look, there's a shark.
Yeah, let's go to Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. Or fucking Catalina. Off of Catalina, there's a shit ton of them.
I worked at a Boy Scout camp in Catalina, and I was teaching snorkeling. and that was like the whole time I was shitting myself.
Oh my god!
It's the nicest water in the world, though. It's so warm and salty. It's you just float, you know.
We did Fear Factor out there a couple times.
Really?
Yeah, we did a couple of stunts.
Nice.
A couple of water stunts.
It's a cool spot. We stayed on the other side, like there's the hotels on the one side and everything. We were on the other side, the campsites. It was awesome. I was like 13 and I got so roasted. My entire body became one blister.
Oh no.
Stupid. I was stupid.
No sunscreen?
None. Out there all day long. Yeah.
So I don't know if, UFOs are real, but it's certainly believable enough. It's not like the sky's empty. It's filled with stars.
So do you think, now after speaking with them, do you think we've had contact like that?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
because
but
they could have been
for
lying.
your own opinion, not for the listeners, not for anybody else. Just you, when you're at home and you're chilling, do you think it?
I don't know. I really honestly don't know. I couldn't say yes or no. I'm more inclined now to think there's something going on than I was before I met Lazar and watched that documentary. Because I was on the, not that I was saying that aliens are not real. I think there's 100% life out there.
For sure.
Let's just say that.
It's too big.
Right. It just doesn't make any sense that there isn't.
Right.
It's the question of whether or not it ever has gotten here before is the weird question. And it's also, the problem is that you feel foolish talking about it because so many people who believe in it are foolish. And so many people who tell stories, their stories are foolish. So you feel foolish kind of going along with it.
Right.
But I'm very careful about stuff like that because I'm like, just because something makes you feel foolish doesn't mean it's true. Or doesn't mean it isn't true. Yeah. So I definitely think there's a very high likelihood that there's life out there. And it's entirely possible that something's gotten here before. But as to whether or not something really has made contact with people, I don't know. If I would say, like, where's my scale, it's like probably 65% believe.
Yeah.
35% going,
Especially after talking to that guy.
Yeah. But he could have experienced something that was an experimental aircraft that they didn't want to tell him.
Right.
You never know, man. I mean, I just don't know what the tech. Look, I'm a moron. Like, I don't understand physics at all. I have no knowledge of propulsion systems or mathematics, and I don't know what the top of the field in propulsion experts are capable of today. I don't know. There might be some shit that they're working on that they've never really perfected, so they've never actually implemented it in the battlefield or something like that, but they have some sort of a drone that looks like it would be filled with 3-foot-tall people like these aliens that they described. I don't know.
And they're not going to fill you in on that. If you think it's aliens, then fine, it's fucking aliens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what that was? I mean, they're taking this guy who was a physicist from Los Alamos Labs who went to Caltech, and they sent him to these classes at MIT to learn fucking nuclear shit, and then they try to see if he can figure out how to back engineer something. They try to say, that doesn't mean it comes from another world. I mean, it could have been a Russian thing. It could have been something that the Germans figured out. I mean, I don't know. But I'm more inclined to believe him than not believe him.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was full of it, you know?
Exactly.
And just looking at him, he also didn't seem like he even wanted to be here.
He didn't.
He was just like, I'm done with this.
He was getting migraines just talking about it before we even got out here. It's like, I just got to tell you, I'm getting a migraine.
Yeah.
And like, Jeremy was trying to talk him into doing it. Like, we're going to be fine, George. I mean, Bob, this is important. It's really good to do this, and we're going to be able to really get the story out. But I think more people told me that they got more out of the conversation because it's just him talking, no spooky music, no edits.
Right.
And you get to see, like, he's honest about what he knows and doesn't know. And when he would say, like, what do you think about this? He's like, maybe, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's like, he wasn't a bullshitter.
He didn't seem rehearsed or full of shit, nothing.
No.
Like, what he was saying, if he didn't believe in that, at least to himself, what he was saying, I'd be fucking amazed.
And his story has not deviated in 30 plus years, which you can't, you try to have me tell a story of something that actually really did happen from 30 years ago, and I probably told it a bunch of different times.
I don't know what we started the podcast
exactly.
with, you know?
It's hard to remember, especially when my memory varies day to day. Like, some days it's awesome, and some days it's dog shit.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works, huh?
Yeah.
You've had a few concussions, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Same here.
Yeah.
I have horrible memory.
Well, from football, it's like probably the worst thing ever for concussions because you're getting them even from body hits. When dudes as big as you are clashing into each other, your fucking brain's getting rattled around in there, even if your head doesn't get hit.
Right. And I played rough. Like, I didn't avoid anything.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, that's a strength of yours. A guy as big as you, I mean, I would imagine you would impose that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's paid for college. You know?
What did you go to college for? What was your major?
History.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool that you're on the History Channel now.
Yeah, it is awesome, man. It's actually the only thing I ever liked in school. Like science and math didn't really click, but history, it was all special to me.
Do you listen to Dan Carlin?
Oh yeah. Of course,
the best hardcore
so
history.
The best I wish he would just do more. That's the only thing.
It's so hard.
I know the research. That's what you have to appreciate. You know,
I'm embarrassed to call what I do a podcast in comparison to what he does. Yeah. What he does is like a lecture.
What yours is a podcast, though. He needs to call his something else. That's what it is.
It's way more in depth. His hardcore history on World War II and World War I and the one on the Mongols.
Oh, so good.
The greatest fucking shit I've ever heard. The Mongol one I've listened to like 4 or 5 times. The Wrath of the Khans. Mm-hmm. Fuck, it's good.
He's so good.
He's so entertaining too. It's like if history was that entertaining, we'd have a fucking world full of history scholars.
Right, and we wouldn't be censoring Instagram right now because people would know how that works.
Then they'd be jacked in 10.
Put a sock on your cock.
Yeah, Dan Carlin is he's a fucking man. He really is. His podcast is incredible, and the fact that he only charges $1 for them, you know. And
I didn't even know he did that.
Well, they're free, and then when you go deep into the archives, he charges $1 a podcast, which is fucking nothing. I mean, they're an hour and a half long. It takes him months and months to do, and he's really just trying to make up for production costs. He's not trying to get rich.
Right, like he would be charging much more, and they're worth more, man. Yeah, I've learned more from that than I did from college. You know.
Yeah,
and you retain it because he's entertaining.
He's the man, and he's a great guy too. I really love that guy. And his story is interesting too. He's an old-time radio guy, you know, and he did radio and then was always a history buff. And he even says he's not a historian. He's like very self-deprecating, but god damn, you're probably the most important historian of our time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
For guys like me, you know, I've learned more about history from that guy than probably from anybody.
Yeah. And so, I mean, probably at this moment now, he technically is a historian, you know?
I think he is.
We should at least give him that.
I mean,
we dub him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you have to be, I guess, a practicing scholar is like his.
I think if you say it on this show, it's official.
He's absolutely a historian.
Boom.
Dan Carlin, you are a historian.
Give that man a plaque.
Give him a plaque. Give him a piece of paper for some bullshit group of dudes.
That's one of my favorite things about the TV show is being able to, like, dive into the history of this stuff. Like we did an episode in England. We were in London for most of it, and this guy Thomas Topham, and he was a fucking psychopath person, like just a crazy person. Like he owned a pub, and his way of getting people in was doing these crazy feats of strength. And he would go out there, and one of the biggest feat of strength, which we challenged ourselves to do, and we actually attempted a world record. I can't say if we broke it or not, but we took these giant barrels of whiskey out in front of this pub downtown London, and we were picking them up on like a yoke. You know what a yoke is? Like a yoke walk?
Yes.
So like that. So the crossbar goes across your back, and you pick up basically. We went, the world record we were attempting was, I think it was like 1,790 pounds, something like that. So it was big. It was big. And in front of a crowd.
That's a car. That's a 1968 911.
Yeah, exactly. Engine and everything.
Yeah.
It was awesome, man.
That's crazy.
And we get to tell his story and talk about like my favorite thing we did for the whole season was probably his episode. There's an old tale that he got drunk one night, and back in the day, London police officers had these little huts they would stand in so they could be out of the weather. And they were like on the side of the road, almost like on an outhouse, but a little bit smaller. And they'd stand in there, and they'd basically keep watch on the street, so the rain didn't get on them. There was the story that he got drunk with his buddies, and just to fuck around with this cop, he picked one of those up with them inside, carried it down the street, and threw him into an open grave at the graveyard. So we did that. It was awesome, man. We're running down these back cobblestone streets with this, like, we didn't use the real police officer, obviously, but we're like with the whole setup on some of us tried to do it on our back, some of us tried to do it other ways, you know. But like we're running down and all these people are cheering us on as we're like celebrating this guy that basically like dragged a cop down the street and threw him into a graveyard. It was hilarious.
Now, when you do something like that, say a stunt like that, how much of a consideration is, like, when you look at it, you go, okay, I think I can do this, but fuck, I might get hurt doing this.
Right. Almost everything's like that. Like we were with the Daredevils last night, and
who were the Daredevils?
The Evil Live. We did a premiere where like it was an homage to Evel Knievel, where the guy was gonna jump a world record jump, but he actually broke his ankles doing the testing for it. So this woman came out and she broke a world record driving through. They have these platforms set up with like boards on fire. And she did 13 boards that were all on fire. She drove face first through them.
What?
She was a fucking savage. And she was the baddest. I'm so sorry. I can't remember her name right now. But she came over and spoke to me. And, like, I'm from Santa Cruz. So, like, you hear the way I'm talking right now. This is how I talk. Like, I'm not, like, super official or anything like that. And she came over and I was like, so what are you thinking? She's like, I don't know, bro. Probably drive like 30. Put my face to the motherfucker. I don't know. Like that. I was like, this girl's fucking savage. I love this, you know? It was so awesome.
You find her, Jamie? Yeah. What's her name?
Vicky
Golden.
Vicky Golden.
She looks like a regular girl. She's not even a giant.
She's very pretty. She's normal, like, just, yeah.
She's putting her face through boards?
Yeah.
Jesus, Vicky.
Crushed. It was so awesome.
Oh, my God. Look at that. Fuck, man.
So that's the boards there. That's the guy who had the record.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So she's just accelerating through these flaming boards.
Yeah.
Fucking
13 of them. And that's the kid that broke his ankle, Axel Hodges. He got hurt like just like 4 days before the live show.
Well, Evel Knievel, man, they put him back together again back when they didn't even know how to put people back together again.
Yeah.
He was glue and shit, and screws and rubber bands.
Crazy.
I mean,
and he just kept coming back.
You ever see like the x-rays of Evel Knievel's body?
I saw, from this show, I saw a little bit of it. Or the videos of him like flopping as he's rolling, and you see his ankle go one way and his arm go the other way, and I'm just, that just creeps me out, man.
That guy was an animal. He just didn't. I wonder if he would take something before he would go.
Cocaine.
Before he would jump.
Everybody was on coke back then.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
What year was that? I'm talking shit.
Yeah. Probably the 70s and the 80s, right?
If it was before 95, everybody was on coke.
I bet they were.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that would be the thing. Do a fucking giant bop.
If he wasn't, he should have been.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Right, like some meth type substance.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking to them about, is basically the same way they look at a stunt is the way we look at a lift. It's like, this could possibly cripple me. This could finish my career, all that stuff. We're good.
What do you got, Jamie?
When he jumped the Caesar's fountains in 1967, he crushed pelvis and femur, fractures to his hip, wrist, and both ankles, concussion that kept him in the hospital, and rumors that he was in a coma for 29 days.
Mm-hmm.
From
he
jumping
got
the
out
fountains.
and kept jumping.
Came back. I think it was 6 months, right? Like that. They talked about this. I can't remember how long it was, but he was right back out on it.
See if you can find a picture of his X-ray.
I did. It's not. They're super old, so it's not clear on like what it was. I looked for that first.
And I was just kidding. He probably wasn't doing any drugs. Just making a joke.
Oh, I'll say it. He's doing coke. He's probably drinking, doing coke, having a great time. Why not? Fuck it. Everybody else did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for that specific lift that we did. I didn't really. That's him at Caesar's, huh?
Jesus Christ! Look how fucking far.
This is actually his son. Yeah, that's looked too clear to be 1967.
Oh, I met his son. I met his son on the set of Fear Factor.
He made it, right?
Yeah, his son made it. Yeah.
Ooh, with the front end that high.
Yeah, that's Robbie.
Wow.
Fucking
the old one there.
crazy. Oh, don't show me. Oh, Jesus Christ, he's gonna die.
Oh,
Turn it off.
he goes limp, man. That stuff creeps me out.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird that was a thing. Like when we were kids, Evel Knievel was like the Daredevil guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, what do you think? You're Evel Knievel?
Right, the toys and everything, man.
Yeah.
They had that wind-up back end that would just shoot him forward.
So you have to look at a lift similar to the way they would look at a stunt. Like there's a high possibility
Right. And in everything from where you step, those cobblestone streets, that was the scariest part of that.
Yeah.
Because the thing itself was, I think it was like 400 something like that. It wasn't like crazy heavy. It was around 400 pounds. So for us, that's not that big of a deal unless you put your foot wrong with 400 pounds. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, there goes your ankle, there goes your knee, there goes your Achilles. And the other thing is, once the whistle blows and it's on and we're racing, or you're playing in a sport and like the fight starts or like the game starts, when the whistle blows, all that shit's gone. Like the fear's gone, the hesitation's gone. I'm gonna fucking win. You know, that's what I'm here for. So that's when you really have to like worry about that. So like beforehand, I'll always walk the course and just like look like, okay, I wanna hug this corner, even if it's gonna take me a little bit longer. I'll be loose on this corner because it's a little bit of a dip. You know, stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, it doesn't always turn out right. First World's Strongest Man, Franco Columbu, just destroyed his knee carrying a fridge.
Did he really?
Yeah, which actually changed a lot of the structure of contracts that we sign now.
Franco Columbu was in the first World's Strongest Man?
Yeah, I believe it was Franco Columbu. Yeah. There was Lou Ferrigno, Franco Columbu. And Franco was the shorter guy who used to train with Arnold, right? Yeah,
he was the guy who used to blow up hot water bottles with his lungs and make them explode.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
crazy.
Fucking insane amount of lung power.
Yeah. And that's like longevity power too. That's the kind of stuff I really like. I can't wait till like I'm done with the sport and I can actually do stuff that'll make me feel good. Like, you know, instead of like waking up broken every day, I'll be like, oh, I can do a little bit of yoga. I like to hike, that kind of stuff.
You're looking forward to a normal life.
Yes, exactly.
What injuries have you had?
The first the amateur show I was doing, I competed. Brian Shaw, who was on the TV show with us, he's 4-time World's Strongest Man winner out of Colorado. He was hosting an amateur show in Colorado, and I was in Santa Cruz training, ocean, sea level, went up to outside of Denver to compete at the show, and fucking had a heart attack. It was so hard, but it was the deadlift. It was like maybe two months after I started deadlifting, maybe 3 months. So I'd never really deadlifted, and we were deadlifting a car, the back end of a car, and they made it heavy, so it was probably, for amateurs, heavy is about like 840 pounds, something like that. So I'm winning the show, and I'm doing it in front of 4-time World's Strongest Man winner who I had my sights on him, like I was coming for him, you know? That's like when I first started, I was like, okay, this guy's the best, I'm coming for that guy. So I wanted to show out, you know? So I go out and I pull the car up, I do the first rep, and I was like, just basically it took 90% of everything I had for that first rep. But like a meathead, I was like, I'll pull a second one, you know? It's 4 reps. So I go pull the second one. About halfway up, my lower back pops, and I just let go. Both my legs went stiff, and then they went numb completely. I fall forward into Brian's arms, actually, as he's judging me. And my legs were numb like maybe 2 months straight, and then off and on for like 2 years. Whoa. They were just so bad. For that first 2 months, I actually ended up I finished that show, ended up in second place, qualified for nationals, which was my goal so I could get my pro card. I went home, started training for nationals with numb legs, and had to sleep in my pickup truck because I couldn't lay down. And we had a studio at the time, no chairs, we just had a bed. And so I would sleep in my pickup truck, get up, drive to the gym, go train. And looking back, like, yeah, that was stupid. It was really stupid. But that's once I'd failed at football. In my eyes, I'd failed. Once I had kind of painted myself in this corner, I was just like, I'm just not going to lose.
And you never got an MRI?
No, I didn't have insurance.
Fuck. But even now, you don't want to get a look-see?
Kind of do. I mean, it feels good now. I mean, I should take a peek. I might. I'm gonna go get my Achilles checked out because at this last World's Strongest Man, I had a decent pop in my Achilles, and so I'm gonna get that checked out. But I've been really careful about how I rehab stuff like that. But you're right. Yes, I should check out my back.
That is crazy though that your legs were numb for 2 years.
Yeah, off and on. They were straight numb for about 2 months.
Straight numb, like someone could stab you in the leg.
Like asleep.
Oh, okay.
Like that. Yeah, and it was sciatic. I pinched my sciatic is basically what I was told. And so, you know, I'd figure that out. Then after that, I was in Africa and I ripped my bicep off the tendon, and I'd been getting beaten up a lot at that point, and like my first year World's Strongest Man, it was so easy for me to get to the finals. I kind of just was like, fucking, it's whatever. I don't have to work for this. I am the strongest man without having to work for it. And then got into Africa after being beaten up a lot and kind of getting my head pushed down in the sand for 2 years in a row, and ripped that off, and I was just like, I'm done. Like in my head, like I thought I was done. I remember walking out by the river and sitting there and just feeling like broken, just like I didn't know what I was going to do with myself or anything like that. And I walked back to the tent, and the referees were telling me, like, get your stuff. They don't want you there. Once you get hurt, they have to fly you home right away. They don't let you stay and watch the finish or any of that shit. They make you leave. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's a liability thing. I don't know. Basically, they just got to get rid of you. But the judge for the show was like, "Hey, we're doing what's called the Hercules Hold, and you're up. Are you going to do it?" And the Hercules Hold means you reach out with both arms here like this, and you have like a handle, like basically like in the gym, the row handles, like that, attached to a tower that's falling, and you hold it as long as you possibly can. And in my mind, I was like, this is the last time I'm ever going to be here, so I might as well leave some fucking blood on the bar. So I walked out and did it. And
with a torn bicep off the bone.
Yeah, the tendon. So I went over there, and I was just like, fuck it, like let's at least leave a mark, Like I had to do something.
Did you tape it up or anything?
What are you going to tape up? Like it's not. I mean, like it's like fully extended your arm. It's basically just taking weight, pulling you, and so it's not direct like curling, hurting, but it's yanking a tendon further in up into your bicep, and I felt it creeping up into my shoulder as I was doing it, and I did great. I actually, it was the best event I'd had that year. I crushed it, and I remember just closing my eyes and being gone, and just when I let go, it was almost like being baptized, man. Like I felt like all the pain and all the stress, everything I'd felt like build up once I'd gotten hurt, I just dumped it all. And then it took me I think it was 2 more years. I finally fought back. I thought I was done, and then last year I made it back into the finals. I'm now again top 10 strongest man in the world. And
so was it because of surgery and rehab?
Surgery, and then everything else was so beat up. Once I finally stepped back, I was like there's no reason I should have to take an hour to be able to walk in the morning.
Yeah,
like there's no reason why my back should hurt from walking from the front door to the car. I was so wrecked, and so I just started working on different things, trying to take care of myself. And I got back to Worlds that next year, actually. I got back, and I just didn't do well because I hadn't been able to do anything. And then came back the following year, which was just this last year, and basically I've been written off. It was I was told it was my last time I was getting invited, because at this point, like, you're done, like it's time for you to find something else. And came out, and I've had the show of my life. I've been working so hard, but you never know how strong you are until you line up. You never know like what kind of athlete you are until you get tested.
Right.
So I lined up, and I got done. I just crushed. When I finished, I loaded the stone, and I knew I was in the finals. Like, dude, I get emotional just thinking about it right now. Like, it just felt like somebody had just washed all that away.
Wow.
I remember ripping my shirt off. I am a fucking showman, I'll tell you that. I had my Strong and Pretty shirt underneath, and I ripped my World's Strongest Man shirt and showed my Strong and Pretty shirt, and I was just roaring. And we were in Malaysia, and like everybody just kind of like stepped back a little bit. It was awesome, man.
So what kind of stuff did you do to try to rehab your body, to try to get your body back into condition?
Tons of core work, tons of stretching, and like basically just digging out scar tissue is huge. It's huge. Like a lot of people use like a Theragun and stuff like that. I went the cheap route. I took a Black & Decker skill saw, and I got the stuff attachments, put it all together. It cost me like $65. But like stuff like that, I kind of figured it all out as I was going. I there's people out there that were telling you stuff, but it wasn't as easily accessible when I was first going. And now, like, literally now we have a website called Starting Strongman. So like people who want to train and figure out like what's a safe way to start out, or like if I want to train like this, but I don't want to buy all the equipment, or if I do want to be the strongest man in the world, or if I just want to know what kind of type of lifts to use to like keep your back healthy, to help you use your upper back instead of your lower back when you're pulling, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's all there now. Like literally that did not exist. And you just have to like listen to like the sock on the cock guy in the gym telling you what to do, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
That's what it was for me. Like it was a bunch of older lifters, and I remember just, you know, warming up is for pussies and all that kind of shit. Oh yeah.
Really?
Old school lifting, man. Old
Warming
school
up
lifting.
is for pussies.
Yeah. You ever see a lion warm up before it chases a gazelle?
I've heard that nonsense before.
It's ridiculous.
Laird Hamilton was talking that crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm not a lion, and I'm not going after a gazelle.
If you have to, it's there. But if you want to take care of your body, it's definitely better to warm up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if you watch like a guy like Manny Pacquiao train, like I watched him work out once with Freddie Roach, and he warms up for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like 15, 20 minutes of warming up. They said that about Ali, that Ali would warm up for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So an hour of his workout was him just warming up his body, just moving along and stretching and rolling his arms and his legs and rolling his hips. And then once that blood's flowing, then he starts shuffling.
Right.
Then he starts hitting the bag. Then he starts hitting the pads.
That's the older I get, the more I realize how important that is, and like how important it is to teach the next generation how to warm up.
Yeah.
Even just rolling your hips. Yep. I only started doing that in the last year and a half.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That
like
is
I
crazy.
put all that strain on my hips and low back. I'm telling you, forever, and didn't even move my hips in a circle. Like
now, for your
hip
low
circles.
back, do you ever use a reverse hyper?
I do. I use a reverse hyper. I like to do a lot of stiff leg stuff. I avoid deadlifts as much as possible, but I mean, I still compete. I can't.
Right.
And what I did now was what a lot of guys do is they use a suit. I didn't know like everyone was using deadlift suits and it was actually protecting their low back. That's a lot of what a deadlift suit does is transfer it to your upper back. Which is like, I went to Worlds this year and it was the first time I didn't zero the deadlift at World's Strongest Man. I pulled it up and it was fucking easy. I was in my groups and I was cruising.
What does zero the deadlift
like
mean?
Didn't get a zero, like a no rep. Like it was the first time I actually pulled the deadlift rep at World's Strongest Man. Every year I've been fighting to get in the finals and doing my best with one arm tied behind my back, because when this event comes, I get 0 points. But like I finally figured that out. That's what I was still thinking that I was close to retiring, even though I was feeling better. But then I realized that I'm so much stronger now, and I don't have all the pain. So like I'm almost at like peak age for strength too. So I've got to give it a couple more years.
What's the peak age for strength?
They say, but for at least from what I've been told, they say it's like between 34 and 36 is for strongman. This is what I've always been told. But honestly, I think the longer we study this stuff, the more we're realizing is like if you treat your body right, you can keep getting stronger as long as you don't break things, mess things up.
That's the big issue, right? People break things and they have to work around those things, and they break something else and they're compensating because one knee's fucked up and then the other knee blows out because it's compensating for the bad knee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, I know a lot of people that have had ACL surgeries and or ACL injuries, and they try to not have surgery. They try to just rehab it. And I'm like, God damn it, just get the fucking surgery.
Right.
You're going to be out for 6 months, but at least you'll have a fixed knee.
Right. In a year, you'll be happy.
Yeah, you'll be great. And a year's going to happen whether you like it or not.
Right.
And this way, that year happens, and while it's happening, you'll realize, like, hey, I gotta keep my fucking legs strong.
Right.
I gotta keep all those stabilizer muscles strong.
Right. And then everything else doesn't fall apart.
Hamstring strength is big.
Huge.
Yeah.
And butt strength. A lot of guys don't like to do like butt exercises. It's huge, man. It saves your low back. It makes you feel better. And also stretching out the front end of your hips and your abdominals, stretching that stuff. That company, you've spoke about him.
So right.
Yeah. They actually they hit me up the other day and they were like, we really want to send you one of these. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, we have them here. Do you want one?
No, well, they're sending me one. So
we got one I'll give you right now.
Nice.
Yeah, they give us a box of them. I give them to people.
They're awesome.
I fucking believe in them. They're not expensive. It's real simple, super easy to use. I put them down on the ground and lie on it. And it just like gets in there and dig. And it's not just for the psoas muscle. It's for your whole back.
Right.
I use it on everything. I use it on my shoulders. I use it on my legs.
Yeah, I saw a video where this guy was doing the outside of his legs and everything with it. It's
fucking brutal.
Yeah.
But you know what my favorite is? That Tim Tam thing. That thing right there. You see that jackhammer motherfucker?
Yeah.
That's like a upgraded Theragun.
Yeah.
That's like even more powerful.
The new ones, yeah.
Yeah, that thing's amazing.
And they don't die as quick, too. A lot of the guys at Worlds use those. Those are good.
They're so good.
Yeah.
All that kind of recovery stuff is so important. Guys that think they could just work out and not take that time and recover.
Right.
You know,
I was that guy though. I was, and you learn.
Sure.
I mean, when this ripped, it was the full tear finally. Like my tendon exploded. It didn't rip actually. It had exploded. So there was still a little.
Is that when you were doing the Hercules thing?
No, that was after. That was after. So when that happened, it didn't fully separate. So, but when I went home and I was training down the road, this was like a little while later.
So you didn't even get surgery immediately?
You couldn't. You can't.
Why?
Because first off, if it's muscle or if it's not completely separated, you can't get surgery. But this, basically what I'm saying is exactly what you're saying, just a different time period. This exploded off the tendon when I was doing a world record attempt for an axle in training. And I was like, I knew it was tore right away. But we had the pilot for the TV show we were supposed to film in Nova Scotia, Canada this next day. And I knew what an opportunity it was. So I said, fuck it. I went and took a shower and got on a plane and I flew to Canada. And in Canada, with it completely torn, knowing that I needed surgery and it hurting like the worst pain ever, we had to flip a boat. So like one of those little rowboats, we had to flip it like a tire. Then we carried 300-pound water jugs up a hill. We did like all this stuff with that separated. And the entire time, it just felt like someone was stabbing me with a cattle prod. Right. But that was meathead. But
were you worried that you were doing more permanent damage, though?
Not on the bicep. No, once the bicep goes, the only thing worse you can really do is shove it up higher so they have to flay you deeper when they pull it down.
Flay is a hard word.
Yeah.
Flay. I'm thinking of some fucking Inquisition type torture device.
Right. But I had a great surgeon. I was taking care of, man, and it wasn't too bad.
How long is the rehab?
2 minutes. Oh no. 3 weeks in a cast, and then like he gave me this like an arm brace that would like I'd adjust it every week or so to where it would go more and more straight. And then that was maybe 3 months before I could use it. And at that point, it's not like I could go do what I was doing. It's at that point you start over.
Wow.
Yeah. And my arm was like tiny. I was pretty pissed off.
Well, even your arm tiny is probably a regular person.
Yeah. But how weird is that? I'm walking around like with one arm like this and the other arm looks like it works at like some IT company.
Well, you know Boss Rutan? Do you know who he is?
Yeah. I've met him a few times.
Boss has what he calls baby arm. Is one arm that's small because of atrophy, because of pinched nerves.
Right.
It's really kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I don't think he can hold up a jug of milk.
Oh shit!
Like he couldn't like hold a jug of milk in his arm and extend his arm. Yeah,
that's a guy that for some reason didn't get a lot of the love that he so deserves.
He was a pioneer,
savage.
Yeah, and one of the most one of the original technical strikers.
Right, taking on dudes way bigger than him and still handling them. Yeah. Like Hoist Gracie is amazing and savage, but he was doing the exact same thing.
Oh yeah. You know? Yeah, he was just years later. But if Hoist had to fight Boss Rutan, it would have been ugly. But the thing is, like in the early days, Boss didn't understand submissions either. So Hoist would have probably got him if it was like UFC 1. Who knows? You know, it's a crazy sport, and the people that have been able to, like pave the way like a guy like Bas Rutten.
Yeah.
They were
He's such a good dude
important.
too. He's so nice.
He's such a savage. He would just shoot cortisone into everything. All of his joints are all fucked up because he would just take cortisone shots, just shoot it into everything. Lidocaine, he'd shoot lidocaine into his shins.
Oh my god!
So he could fucking blast people, not feel anything.
Not feel it.
He's such an animal.
Christ.
He was such an animal. He had amazing stories, though.
We went to his gym. We did. I did Moss wrestling. Moss wrestling is like an old Russian style of wrestling where you have like a stick and you each hold the ends of the stick and try and take it from each other. Oh. And we actually, I did it twice. 2 tournaments, and I was the undefeated American champion for a year and a half after doing it twice. But we went to his gym to do the qualifiers to go to the World Championship in Dubai, and he came out there and he was judging and stuff. And I remember like I was way bigger than most people, and I'm like upper body heavy, so I just lean back and take it. And at the end of it, he walked over and he goes, he's like, "The force is strong with you, son." Like, I fucking love this guy.
Yeah, he's got a great personality. Yeah. He's a great commentator too. He's great at that. It's fun. He makes shit fun.
Yeah, he seems like a cool dude.
What's the average lifespan in terms of like how much time you can compete at the highest level for strongman? Because it seems like everything is just so fucking heavy. Everything's gonna almost blow out.
Right.
Like, how many years can a guy expect to compete at the highest level?
It depends on the guy. We're getting better at holding on to that kind of stuff. And if you make it to the top echelon, so that you're saying at the top level, I'd say the average is low. It's probably like a year. 2 years. Mm-hmm. But if you just took the last 5 years and kind of cut that out and did your own like study with that 5 years, I'd say guys now are going to average more like 3 to 5 years, 5 maybe 6 if you're doing good. But then you have these guys like Brian Shaw's been doing it since before I even knew what it was. You know, Brian Shaw's 4-time world's strongest man out of Colorado. He takes his rehab seriously. He doesn't care about how much it costs or what it takes. Like, it's to him, he's an athlete first. So like he's got these really amazing like cold pools and hot pools right next to each other at his house, and all the different type of equipment that he would need to rehab. And he's always making sure he gets body work done 2-3 times a week. And when we're on the road, like when we were on the road, for me it was an education, because I was with Nick Best, who's 55, and he's still doing this.
Really?
Yeah, 55.
How?
He's just a savage, man. He's an old power lifter, and he's at the point where he needs help to get down to the ground to pick something up. But he's trying to figure that stuff out, and he's definitely going to pay for the years of savagery, for sure. But we have him, and then we have Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall is won World's Strongest Man 2017, and he's the strongest person to ever deadlift in the world. He pulled 500 kilos from the ground, which is 1,104 pounds, I believe. 500 kilo deadlift, just straight stood up with it like it was nothing, looked around the crowd, made sure they understood he had it like it was easy, and then put it back down, you know.
God, damn.
And in a lot of people's opinion, that makes him the strongest man ever to live. Deadlift to a lot of people is king. Then we have Brian Shaw, 4 times world's strongest man, and he's like a mad scientist with this stuff. Like, if you go to talk to Brian Shaw about like the trajectory of a sandbag, or how you want to put your hand placement, or where you want to do this or that, or like anything that has to do with the science of lifting, he can dissect it like basically Bill Nye the Science Guy. That's what I always call him. Is that or Debo? Because he gets crazy. He reminds me of Debo from Friday, and he makes me look small. Brian's got me by like 2 inches and like 40 pounds.
Wow.
And when he gets tired or hungry, he starts to get that flex, you know, and he's like goes like that. It's like, Debo, calm down. But like, I'm traveling the world with these guys, and I'm basically picking my little pieces out of what they've learned and what they've done, because I'm very young in this game. I haven't been doing it for a long time. I'm getting to the point now where I feel comfortable calling myself like not a rookie. I wouldn't say I'm a vet. I'm right about that. But I've got to learn like what Brian does for his rehab, how many times he gets massage therapy, and what the difference is between massage therapy and a massage, or someone who's a PT and someone who actually is fluent in like deep tissue or sports therapy, that kind of stuff. You learn all that stuff, and I never took the time or spent the money. Honestly, I was never in a situation where I could spend that money and take care of myself that way. It always kind of seemed like a luxury, and it's not. Like for them, it's maintenance. It's like getting the oil changed on your car.
Do you roll out with a lacrosse ball? Yes. Or do you use like one of those wad balls?
I use a softball.
Balls? A softball?
Yeah, I use a softball because it's big and it's not hard like a baseball. So, I mean, for a lot of people, that's too much. But for me, it's perfect. And I actually do I try and get a lot of people to do them on the front of their hips, too, because it's nice, like pressure point stuff. Yeah. Really good. Or like an Atlas stone. The balls that we lift, the concrete stones, you just roll your stomach over that and just relax and just let it sit there, and it kind of just pushes everything back and moves it around. You know, so I like doing a lot of that stuff.
I've seen a lot of guys do that with kettlebells as well.
Yeah,
you lie down on them and roll it over your back because it's unforgiving and it pulls all the tissue apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, what about food? Like, what kind of diet are you guys on?
We all basically eat the exact same thing.
Yeah?
We all just a ton of meat and rice, and we do a lot of peppers and stuff like that.
No one's vegan?
No. Not any of those top ones in the world.
Isn't there that one guy, that Patrick, what the fuck's his name?
There's a vegan strongman I've heard of. I don't remember his name, but he's not like he's never been the world's strongest man.
Well, there's a documentary they're doing with James Cameron where they're trying to promote him as being. James Cameron is on this vegan kick. His wife has a school and they feed the kids all vegan food, and Arnold's a part of this too. And that guy.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah. He's not one of the strongest men in the world. He's a strong man, and he's strong, and and no disrespect, I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's just
put that back up again, Jamie.
He's just and from what I recall, he's never even been invited to World's Strongest Man.
So it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you can say a lot of things. Like this guy, say he broke a record in like some powerlifting competition that was in a guy's backyard, right? And they call that a world record. And then all of a sudden now he's a world record strength athlete because his buddy in his backyard said so. A lot of that happens. I don't know specifically about him. I have no clue where he's getting his credentials
he eats
from.
One meal a day.
See, this is ridiculous. 1 meal a day and vegan.
Vegan professional powerlifter, 2013, set the deadlift world record for his weight class. Oh, it's only 672 pounds.
For how much does he weigh, though? There's 672 isn't even big for guys that are like 115
Well, he's only 5'7".
Okay.
So he's smaller than me.
So they're talking about powerlifting too. So once you get into powerlifting, there's so many little federations and stuff. Like everybody and their mother has world records and just this and that.
So this documentary is touting, because that's why I was confused. Like all the strongmen that I've seen are giants.
Right.
Like how can a 5'7" guy compete?
I've never seen him anywhere on the circuit or anywhere at a big show.
And there is a circuit, like a confirmed circuit with guys like you,
we have
Brian
giants,
Shaw,
Eddie Hall, and Nick Best.
Huge, giant humans.
Yeah. We have Giants Live. Giants Live is the qualifying tour for World's Strongest Man. So to get to Giants Live, there's like a bunch of little federations that you could possibly do well in, and they'll invite you. Or, like getting invited is kind of like the only tricky thing, getting in. But once you get there, if you prove yourself, you get top 3. Or if like, say you go to my first Giants Live I went to, it was like stacked. Like it was 10 of the strongest men on the planet. And normally Giants Live has like 3 of the top 10 and then a few of the other guys trying to get in. And so when I went, it was all the top 10 guys, and I got 6th place, I believe. But I still got invited to World's Strongest Man because it was the top 10 strongest men in the world there when I did that. So normally you have to go to a Giants Live, prove yourself there, and then you get invited to World's Strongest Man. Now sometimes, like we've had years where World's Strongest Man got pushed and was filmed early, so they had to invite other guys. But you can always tell who's strong. Like you can see when a guy shows up and he's ready to go, or if he's just got show muscles, or if he's just a big chubby dude, and it's. I mean, you strap a guy to a truck and tell him to pull it 30 meters, you're gonna figure that shit out real quick. You know?
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's a shit show for some people.
Well, because the James Cameron thing, they're pulling this guy out as if he's some world record power lifter, strongman guy.
He probably has
for his
a
weight
world
class.
record. He probably has some type of world record. I've seen him because I've posted videos talking about my meals and stuff before, and a lot of people give me that, like, this guy does this and he's vegan.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the biggest pull he's ever pulled is 627, then that wouldn't even do, like, that would get last place at an amateur heavyweight show in America. But also, the other thing is America, we have the strongest men in the world too. Like, everyone, it's weird in America. We have these people like have this love for other countries. Everyone wants to be like, well, I hear in Iceland they're really strong, or oh, in Poland they're this, and it's like, motherfucker, we're strong here. Like, we're fucking strong. Like, if you're an American, getting into Worlds is the hardest way to get in. If you go to another country, it's much easier. Much easier, because here we've got, out of the top 10, we've probably got 4 or 5 guys. 4 or 5 guys that are top 10 in the world at any given time. And only like 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys get invited every year from America. So if you're getting into Worlds, you got to be a bad motherfucker, or go move to Poland, or actually Poland's got a bad dude right now. Go move to Lithuania, or go somewhere else. Like,
it would be easier because you would represent a country with a smaller talent pool.
Yeah, much easier.
Now, what about
we
that?
bang out here.
I believe you.
Yes, sir.
What about the Mountain? The guy from the Game of
The
Thrones?
Mountain from Iceland? Yeah.
He's legit, right?
He's a savage. Yeah, he won last year.
Yeah.
He's no joke, man. He's strong.
How do you say his name?
Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson. Just call him Thor.
Say it again.
Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson.
Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson.
Bjornsson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a savage. He's strong, and he's definitely legit. No joke. You know, he's good. He got 3rd place this year. He's you know,
isn't he fighting off Bell's palsy or something like that?
He had Bell's palsy a couple years ago, and I think he's almost all the way better. Like, his not to be rude, but his face always had like a little bit of a, like, I've got these huge fat chubby cheeks, so I'm allowed to talk shit, I guess. But he had kind of like that look on his face a little bit already. So, but I'm pretty sure he's probably like I'd say at least 99% done.
But
and
what causes that shit?
A lot of times it's stress. It can be an infection. I'm not a doctor. I'm just pretending.
You're not a doctor?
At the moment. I'm working on getting my license.
Jamie,
what the fuck is this guy here for? This fucking guy.
So all of you basically, you were saying, eat the same thing. It's just meat and rice, basically?
Meat and rice, potatoes.
What kind of meat?
And a lot of times it's bison. And we do.
That sounds strong.
Yeah, I fucking love elk.
I love bison too.
Elk is
I love
my
elk.
shit.
How long you in town for?
2 more days.
You got somewhere you can cook?
Yeah.
I got a lot of elk for you, bro.
Oh my god, I love you.
I have
Elk's my favorite.
I have commercial freezers in the back.
Nice.
I shot 2 last year, so I
really?
I tried to give it out to as many people.
Nice.
As I can.
Where'd you go?
One of them in Utah, and one of them in Central California.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I've always in Oregon they got a ton of elk hunting. I've always wanted to.
It was Roosevelt elk in Oregon. They're bigger bodied too. It's a big animal.
Yeah, and
it's the best meat.
It is, in my opinion, the best meat there is elk by far.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
So good for you too.
Yeah, it tastes so damn good too. I've never had elk that I didn't like. Even if the guy cooking it sucked, it still came out good.
Yeah, it's a crazy taste, right? It's like people that think that that venison is gamey. Like, first of all, it's just because someone hasn't prepared it correctly and they didn't take care of it after they killed it. But 2, it's like, not elk.
No,
man, that shit is always good. You could have an old bull, like a fucking 10-year-old bull who's been rutting and stabbing other elk with his head.
Yeah.
And it still tastes delicious when you cook it.
It's fucking amazing. It's the best.
It's the reason why wolves are chasing those motherfuckers.
Exactly. It's delicious.
They don't know what's going on. So how many times do you eat a day?
So right now it's usually about 5, but right now my 5 meals are smaller. Like, when we're going into Worlds, like the last 2 months, I'm eating those 5 meals and then everything else.
Just going crazy.
Everything I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I try and keep it clean, but you just want it all. You want it everything.
And when you're in a competition, how many days is like a World's Strongest Man competition?
World's Strongest Man is normally 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
It's fucking savage. It's so brutal.
So are you working out at all while that's going on, or are you just doing the events?
You're doing the event, and then you immediately try and find someplace cold. Because normally Worlds is in some exotic location that we're selling tourism to.
Wow.
So it's like Malaysia, Africa. We were in Florida this year. It's always some hot, humid place.
So they're trying to get people to come to see it.
Right. A lot of it's a tourism ad. And it's always beautiful background, right? Beautiful background. Fucking hell on us, you know. It's brutal.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's part of what pays for everything, and none of us really. We all know to expect it's going to be hot and humid. We just, now myself. This is the first time I've had people come with me. Like every time I've been to Worlds before, it was just me and my gym bag, and I'm just ready to bang, you know. But now, I have to, for some reason, I kept thinking of the sock on the cock thing when I said that. Ready to bang! We're ready to bang! Anyways.
I got to question your gear!
So, but now, this year, and every year forward from now on, I had my crew, like, my girl was with me, and two of the guys I train with, and they basically... So we'll be in our tent, and like 400 yards away is them lifting. And if I want to know who's doing what or what position they're in, or like I'm competing in a group of 5, I need to know how many points this guy just scored, what this guy has. Like I need to know all that before I would have to walk out there hot and humid, find out that, come back and be moving back and forth, doing all that stuff if I wanted to get food. Anything. It's just a ton of extra stress. This year, like they literally wouldn't even let me bend over to tie my own shoes. Like they put them on me, had me set, and I was fucking strong as shit, Joe. I'm telling you,
because of that,
everything, like the work too. Like I really thank Brian, Nick, and Ed for how strong I was this year. Like just training with them, and then when you're with somebody, like you compete. It's just if you and I were walking to the door, I'd try and get there faster. You know, like it's just the way it is.
Right.
So doing that for the entire year, going into Worlds, I showed up and I've been going chest to chest with the strong. In my opinion, Brian Shaw is the strongest man who ever lived, and so I've been going chest to chest with this dude all year. You 30 other dudes ain't shit. Like I'm here to take your money. You know,
right.
So I felt great, and having them help me and stuff. It all added up to me feeling the best I've ever felt.
Do you do a lot of ice baths?
Yeah. I didn't before because I was basically just pussing out and just didn't want to. But you have to. If you're training with these guys, you have to. They're not going to let you slide. It's like that coach that's just like, yo, you don't want to? Oh, okay, well, twice as long for you.
When do you do the ice bath? Because I was reading something, I think it was Andy Galpin had a study that he put up about hypertrophy and how it's affected by ice baths.
Right.
And that there's a certain amount of time after lifting you should wait before you get in an ice bath.
Yeah, we've all known that for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was new information because a lot of people are just now finding out the way your body reacts after a workout, like the pain, the inflammation, all that stuff. You're supposed to allow that.
For how long?
For us, it's like we'll train. Normally, it depends on filming, like because we work 13-hour days on top of that, you know, and you know filming is fucking exhausting. It's like you did that perfect, do it 3 more times, you know.
Right.
That shit's so crazy. But so normally, if we train in the morning, we would wait to ice bath to the end of the day. But if we trained immediately after set, like we got off set, we went and trained, so it'd be like 6 or 7 at night. We'd come back, we'd eat, and we'd like conversate, take our time, and then we would go just before bed. So it's like I think minimum we would do like 2 hours or so, and I don't, maybe that's too long, maybe, but for us that's like usually just. That's our routine. We don't want to avoid that stuff because that's kind of your body learning how to deal with that.
Yeah, I think that what they were studying was the difference between someone who did it immediately after workout or someone who waited an hour, and the waiting an hour was beneficial to muscle growth.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, you see people like popping ibuprofen after workouts and stuff. And it's like, bro, you're supposed to feel that. You're supposed to feel that shit.
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing. Now, when you're eating these 5 meals a day, do you have like a meal prep person that sets it up so you have the right amount of calories and nutrients, and you're doing it like that?
I don't have to worry about that too much. When we're on set, we have caterers and stuff, so it's super easy.
And do the caterers like give you bison and rice and shit like that? Oh, that's cool. Everything you need?
Everything we need.
Nice.
It's nice. So when it's that easy. But when I get home, see, you get used to that too. So you go home and you try and eat some shitty meat after like 3 straight weeks of clean food. Your body's like, what are you doing, bro? You know?
Enjoy these farts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Run my girl out of the house. They'll get bad.
And what about drink? What do you drink? Do you drink just water? Or?
Straight water. I switched to those like when we're doing like humid shit, like we're in humid areas,
like a liquid IV.
We did those. Yeah. We did those, but and I got off of Gatorade and switched to those body armors. It's like body armors is like less sugar. It's way better, more electrolytes.
Yep.
So I only do those when we're actually training and it's humid. Like I try the best I can to keep myself from like allowing that type of stuff unless it's competition. So like when it's competition, take the fucking ibuprofen, drink the body armor, all that shit. Like this is the moment you worked for. Like you want it to be as smooth as possible now.
Right.
But when you're leading up into that, it's water. Like when I'm really tight on my diet, like every once in a while it'll be a Coke Zero, which I'm telling you,
getting crazy.
It saves me. It's like I don't get to eat In-N-Out, but I'll have this Coke Zero. It'll be okay.
Can In-N-Out fuck with you?
No, In-N-Out's amazing.
How could that?
That's God's gift to us.
That can't be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
How could that be bad?
This is for everyone in Texas. I'm so sorry, but In-N-Out is a million times better than
they're in
Whataburger.
Dallas now.
No, they're in Dallas. They're in Austin. They're in New Braunfels.
Yeah, those Whataburger people they're drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's
You're
wrong.
out of your fucking mind.
If you're comparing Whataburger, you got to compare it to like McDonald's to Burger King.
Oh, it's better.
In-N-Out's a different show.
Yeah,
like this is the different ticket.
The only people that fuck with In-N-Out is Five Guys.
Okay, Five Guys. But if you go to Austin, and where On It is, if you go out there, there's this place called P. Terry's. There's only 3 or 4 of them, and they're only in that area. I'm telling you, they crush everybody.
Really?
I'm
P.
serious.
Terry's?
P. Terry's.
Is it just the letter
Terry's.
P? Like Terry Crews? Like
TERRY''.
Really?
And I'm telling you, like, this is not a sponsored ad. They are the fucking shit. And their fries, In-N-Out's fries are okay. They're not the best. I think
Guys have better fries.
Way better.
And they have Cajun fries.
And they have better burger choices, too.
Five
Guys, you can get weird jalapenos.
Bacon.
Exactly.
They have shakes.
Right.
Oh, they don't have shakes. Oh, they do have shakes.
In-N-Out's got pretty good shakes, too.
Yeah, Five Guys didn't have shakes for a while. Now they have shakes at some places, but they win with the jalapenos.
Oh yeah,
jalapenos and bacon.
Yeah,
the game's
more
over.
options. Yeah, you can't fuck with that.
Better buns too.
Yeah, way better buns.
That's what I'm saying.
But when you go to Austin, you gotta try P. Terry's.
I'm fucking hungry now, man. What have you done?
I need we left Evil Live 2 last night in a limo, and I was like, we've been here for 9 hours. We're stopping at In-N-Out. Yeah. The guy was like, you've never had In-N-Out? I was like, no, I've had it. We're just stopping there.
Look at that. Damn. P. Terry's. Man. Bang for your burger buck. That does look goddamn good.
Yeah.
That looks so good.
And they're only in that area too, man.
Really?
Yep.
They need to branch the fuck out. That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Woo. Man.
Next time you're there, for sure.
Yeah, I'm in. So, what about supplements? Like vitamins, minerals?
Protein is something I definitely stick to, and I do pre-workouts depending on like what mood I'm in.
What kind of protein powder are you using?
I'm spoiled. I do the RTDs, like the ready to drinks. The ones like nice. I'll get those cases at Costco, man. Costco's always got great deals. But I like to basically use whatever's easy on my stomach. You know, like
do you like whey? Do you like pea protein, hemp? What do you like?
I've had pea. Pea was okay. It tasted kind of funny.
It's a little weird.
Hemp's nice.
Yeah,
hemp's always nice. And if you can, for me, like it's just nice to go back to that. Like,
have we ever sent you any of the On It stuff?
No.
On It, shit, I wish I had some here. I'll give you some.
No,
do we have any On It hemp? Fuck. Maybe. We'll see. If we
it's always
I'll
nice.
Get it sent to you, man. Whatever you need.
It's always nice to go back to the hemp, like for anything. For like if you're doing clothes or anything like that, it's just
so easy to digest too.
Right.
Hemp protein just like goes no problem.
Nice.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah. And then so I'll do pre's and stuff like that. I actually work with a company called Nanoceutical Solutions that do vitamins, and it's basically I'm gonna fuck this all up. Concussions, don't email me telling me I fucked this up. I'm telling you right now, I fucked this up. Okay, God, email Joe. Okay, Email Joe. That's why. So Nanoceutical Solutions, they take like basically your normal vitamins and they break them down into a smaller bit. Like normally, the smallest way you can it's called like the way your body ingests it. It's called bioavailability. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. That was gonna bug me. So so for your body to actually accept it, like the lowest we've gotten is to I think micrograms or something like that. And this guy out of San Antonio, he broke it down into nanograms, and he's been working with me. I think I'm the only athlete he works with. He's a small company. And we've been talking, we were working together, and I could just tell right away. I used to do B12 shots. You ever had B12 shot?
Sure, yeah.
And you know how right afterwards you kind of taste that weird taste in your mouth and you get that energy? Well, with him, he has the sublingual vitamins. So like between the B12 and the glutathione, dude, I'm telling you, like the B12, it was just like getting a B12 shot.
What's the name of this company?
Nanoceutical Solutions.
Nanoceutical Solutions. There we go. James got it. Proprietary manufacturing process allows for the molecular dispersion without excessive heat or breaking of the chemical bonds. This allows the vitamins and supplements to remain unchanged and undamaged when they are absorbed in your body. Fucking, I'm in.
That's exactly what I said, right? Didn't I say that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like methyl B12, melatonin, glutathione. Glutathione's the shit.
The shit. Nobody knows about
turmeric and curcumin. I just found out that turmeric has an R in it.
Yeah.
I learned it this year.
I learned that from you.
I was like, I thought it was turmeric.
God damn it. We're so stupid. We are reptiles.
For sure. You and I, for sure.
So I do that.
Thank God smart people out there making vitamins that are nanograms.
Yeah, exactly. So I just try and eat clean and that kind of stuff, you know, and we can always tell when our body's like acting a little weird or funny, and you can just backtrack a little bit and you're like, oh, like I've been doing this a little different, or I've had beer fucking 6 nights in a row, like just chill out, that kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
So most of the time it's self-regulation.
Now, you said that they drug test you guys. What are they testing for?
They test for everything. When we get drug tested at World's Strongest Man, it's for everything. It's
steroids.
For steroids, it's for.
But everybody has to be on steroids. No,
I don't know what to tell you. When there's one test a year,
right? So you have to pass that test.
You have to pass that test, and they can test you randomly too. The randomly thing, from my experience, the random thing only happens if you're acting like you're on amphetamines. If you're acting like you're on amphetamines, they're going to test you. And there's been guys who pop for amphetamines after they randomly tested them.
If you're trying to put a sock on your cock.
Exactly. If you're screaming at somebody about cock and sock and all that, yeah, you're going to get drug tested.
Oh, so that's what I would imagine that they would worry about that when it comes to lifting, right?
Most definitely. You don't want somebody to die on air.
Right.
You know, you can't have that. And we're like pulling that truck. I'm telling you, they stopped using the heart meters because people were losing their fucking mind, seeing that our hearts were so high. It was like 240 a minute.
What?
Something like maybe 230. Yeah. It's
I didn't
insane.
even know you could get that high.
That's what everybody else said, so they pulled the fucking meters.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, that's like a jackrabbit.
Crazy, huh?
Wow.
Crazy.
240 a minute. Yeah. Fucking A. Yeah. Has anybody pissed hot for steroids?
I believe one person got busted.
I would imagine.
I don't want to say his name because I don't know if it was for steroids or for meth. Meth. What did I say? What do I call it?
Amphetamines.
Amphetamines.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, I would feel like for steroids, it kind of. I mean, I don't want to like push it, but it seems like you'd have to be.
I mean, it's a sport where it's built for bigger men, but I mean, there's a lot of guys who've gone through and been very adamant that they're not, and you know, we get tested. We all literally, like, every year I have to explain to the guy, like, yes, there's going to be marijuana in my system, and that's in the rules that it says it's okay. Like, I have that conversation every year.
And it used to be illegal.
And we got it switched. I believe 14.
Did you help get it switched?
I brought it up a lot. I don't know if that really changed anything, but I was like, look at these fucking gorillas. You want everyone here on Vicodin?
Right.
And like, I literally, like, all I'm saying is we should be able to smoke weed. I'm not saying that you guys should be able to do meth or any of that other shit. None of that. Like,
well, I think we're finally recognizing, as a culture, that weed is not what everybody thought it was when they were in the 50s and the 30s. And
thank God.
Thank God.
Because, I mean, people were doing so much worse shit.
Well, that's why that little Jeff Sessions cunt was driving me fucking crazy when he was the attorney general and he was saying, we got to, marijuana's, good people don't smoke marijuana. Like,
right.
You're not hanging around with good people, first of all, because good people don't want to hang out with you.
Exactly.
So you don't know what you're talking about.
And wasn't it Hillary that was saying she was going to do her best to keep it illegal?
Yeah, she had some nonsense that she was saying too. That was, I don't know. Who knows?
That's crazy. If I was you, and just being honest on this show would scare the living fuck out of me. Because so many people listen. I'd just be worried that sooner or later, like, somebody
for you.
Just show up.
Hillary just shows up.
Just show up.
They carry her, like one of them, the kings they carry with the poles on the shoulders. Those big dudes. She just comes in, hops out,
moves the veil and peeks. Yeah. Yes, that is the one.
Did you see that video I put on my Instagram of that dude who
Trump?
made that? Yeah,
oh, it was
that
badass.
Trump robot with a Hillary head inside the body.
That was so badass.
Who is that guy? Let's give that guy some props because that fucking animation's amazing. Put it up on the big screen. It's like one of those things where, like, how does this guy even think of this? And where is he buying his weed? Because this is not something that a regular person thinks of.
This is his name. Beeple Crap?
BEEPLE_CRAP. And he's got this video of this Trump robot with glowing eyes and one artificial leg moving, and the entire body of the Trump robot is Hillary's giant head floating around in a vat of liquid.
Like a war-torn United States, I'm guessing. It's soldiers marching with them.
Yeah, it's some post-apocalyptic scenario, but there's all these lights and it's fucking amazing. It's so dope. And Trump's body is weird, and his feet are like baby feet.
Yeah, like and his hands.
Yeah,
they always they do their best to just fuck with that. Like,
I know,
because it bothers him. He should have never acted like it bothered him.
Did he act like it bothered him?
I think he said something about my hand, these big hands, after they'd said it. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
That's the thing is every dude knows. Like, if a guy flinches when you say some shit, you say some more of that shit.
Exactly.
That's what you do.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to flinch.
But they're the ones who say you don't body shame. I mean, they're body shaming this poor guy for having little. He doesn't even have little hands. He's got normal hands.
Rules don't exist
anymore. The same artist made this thing too, which is like the opposite of.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's like a gorilla.
Yeah. If I was Trump, I would hire a trainer and just get on the best juice.
Dude, if I had abs like that, I'd never wear a shirt. I'd go to funerals without a shirt on.
Yeah. Sorry, bro, you're dead, but I'm jacked and tan with it.
Put a sock on your cock.
I don't think Trump has little hands. They're regular hands, but it is a constant theme. It's hilarious. But that thing, that Beeple Crap guy, is that you say his name? Beeple _crap. He's amazing. He's got some great shit on his page too.
That's really cool.
God damn, look at that. A giant Kim Jong-un robot.
What a weird wasn't Trump just in North Korea right now?
They're partying with that dude. They probably killed somebody together.
I wonder if it was like the interview where he let him drive the tank and they were listening to Miley Cyrus. Was it Miley Cyrus? What was it? I don't remember. It wasn't Miley Cyrus.
He was listening to...
In the movie The Interview with the guys from they were driving around. It was...
I don't remember.
Yeah.
That was the Seth Rogen movie.
Yeah. Hilarious movie, by the way.
I never saw that movie.
Oh, you got to see that shit. It's fucking great.
Clips.
No, you got to see that one. That's good.
That movie like vanished. Like I forgot about it. Huh. Like until you just brought it up, I was like, oh yeah.
I think it's on Netflix.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
All those like from Superbad got me like I was in love.
Superbad's hilarious.
So you want to be good at sex when you go to college. You don't want to be sucking dick at fucking pussy. It's so good. Who wrote that shit? Tell me who wrote that so I can say thank you.
I don't know, man. But the scene where he's just drawing dicks.
Yeah. It's
so ridiculous.
So crazy.
I love movies like that.
Yeah.
Just preposterous shit.
Yeah. And just like relaxed humor.
Yeah,
He didn't care if it bothered somebody. I mean,
no.
He wasn't trying to be a dick, but he was funny.
Well, what's interesting is that was quite a few years ago. I wonder if they would even do that movie that way today.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, that movie was like 2013
There's a movie coming out about 3 younger kids than the Superbad movie, and it's rated R, and it seems like it's right along that same vein of like humor and comedy and whatnot.
Thank God.
I forget what it's called.
But we need more of that.
Yeah, it's like the backlash is stronger now than ever before, but also the appreciation of it is stronger now than ever before too, because people are so tired of people being so politically correct and so upset about everything.
Yeah.
You know, like no one's telling you to be an asshole, but people are jumping on things that aren't even bad.
Right. It's like I'm actually like a little nervous about telling athletes that they should smoke weed now. Like that's nerve wracking because like you're dependent on your boss and the places you work and the things you do, right? So just saying something like that, if two people find that offensive and they raise enough hell,
sure,
that's a big fucking deal. But what we're just saying is like it's better than Vicodin, it's better than pills. It's a very much healthier alternative.
Well, you know what it is, man? It's a tool. It's like you can abuse tools, but you could also use them correctly.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to fucking hammer nails with a saw, right? But if you use marijuana correctly and you have discipline and you know what you're doing, the problem is that it's been illegal for so long. People don't understand what the best way to use it for is, and what are the side effects. What is what's the paranoia? What's this heightened sense of awareness that kind of freaks people out? Like how do you mitigate that? How do you get over it? What's the right dosage? All that stuff is dependent upon information, and when people are lying to you about it being terrible and making you fucking blind and losing your marbles.
Right, you're going to kill people and all that stuff.
People are so confused about it that it also makes you more paranoid because as you're smoking, you're thinking, oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this.
Right.
What am I doing? I'm ruining my life. I can't believe I'm doing that. And then you get even more paranoid. And then you're like, I'm never doing this again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about sponsors? Is it ever an issue with sponsors?
The weed thing would be. But right now, the only people I work with other than myself is that Nanoceutical Solutions. So he's actually working on doing a CBD thing and stuff. I don't know if I'll be a part of that because I'm trying to. It's so available now. I'd rather just find whoever does it the very best and not market it because it's so saturated. I just take it for myself. Actually, a lot of people. I worked in group homes when I was in college for kids with autism and for a long time. And there was actually this little girl who she had this. It's not a disease. She had this. I'll just call it a thing. She had this thing where she always felt like she was falling. So like. She looked completely normal. She was autistic and nonverbal, didn't speak. But imagine all day feeling like you're falling. So she learned as a child, really little, if she would hit herself, that people would hold her. So if you weren't holding her, she would literally. I watched her break her own nose. Like she was 11 years old. This sweet little girl, like just super nice and smiley. But like if you didn't hold her, she just whacked right in her own face. And we found out that through I don't remember exactly how it came about, but they gave her THC pills. They gave her THC pills and then stopped. She would walk around the house normally. Like, she was still nonverbal. It's not like it fixed her autism or any of that stuff. But with the whole symptoms of feeling like she was falling, which I don't even think had anything to do with autism. Again, I'm not a doctor. But
wait, what?
Again, yeah. You got to worry about that shit. So they gave her THC pills, and she was like just walking around the house smiling. She would help us cook. She would move around, like she would help the other kids because there was 4 kids in the house. She would help the other kids tie their shoes, stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then her parents came back. Must have been 4 months later, and their friends had guilted them about giving their daughter weed, and they stopped giving it to her, and she went right back to it, like straight back to it.
It's so stupid. It's just ignorance. People just don't understand what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
I felt so bad. This is one of the things that like just ripped me apart from working in that field. Is just there's so much like. There's these little rules that you don't understand. We had a kid that would sit, right? And he would feel stressed out and he would sit. And the rule was when he did that, we weren't allowed to help him up or move him or anything like that because that was rewarding bad behavior. That's how they classified that. So he would just sit in the middle of the road and we weren't allowed to get him out of the middle of the road. He would, and then he learned that if he didn't want to do something, if he basically would stay in his room all day. He would stay in his room all day because he didn't like, the only worker he liked was me, and I think it was just because I was big and jolly and all that. But if he didn't like the person he was working with, he'd just sit in his room on the floor, and then they couldn't touch him, they couldn't do anything, and he'd just sit there. He'd go days without eating or going anywhere out of the room or anything like that. And it was all because we'd put these rules and put these chains on ourselves based off of other people's opinions or worrying what it would look like if we did this, you know? If this girl's taking this pill, what does that look like? Or if we're picking this boy up off the ground, what does that look like? And it was like trying to help these children with your hands tied behind your back. And I don't know if it's like that anymore. This was a long time ago, but it was heartbreaking. I remember everyone was terrified to work with this little boy. He was 10 or 11. He was just a sweet little dude. He got nervous, you know? And so I remember coming in, and one day I was like, you know what? I'm taking him to go to a football game. So I took him to a college Division I football game. Never had an issue, never had any problems, never sat down, nothing. Sat second row in the end zone and like would get all excited every time anybody came by, or like the cannon went off for a touchdown. It was like the greatest moment of my whole like college career was hanging out with this 11-year-old at a college football game. The people were too terrified to even get out of his room.
That's terrible, but that's so cool that you got him there, though.
Yeah, I'd like to think that a lot of people worked more in that direction after I left. You know, I'm hoping. And you could see in his eyes, he was a sweet little boy. You know, I've never met a kid that was evil ever. Yeah. You just need to know how to work with him, how to talk with him.
Well, that's cool that you have that kind of patience.
Yeah.
Do you have kids of your own?
I do. I have a 3-year-old boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my little Atlas bear.
First one, 3-year-old?
Yep.
Wow, that's a fun age, man. They start talking to you and they're running around.
Telling all the stories and everything. At night now, he doesn't even, like we have to read books before we go to bed, because when we go to bed, he wants to tell me stories. So he'll lay there and he'll be like, well, this one time, and he'll talk for like 10 minutes about some shit, you know? It's so sweet and so cute. Yeah.
It's a wild thing, having a little person that he made.
Yeah.
You know, people that don't experience it's very, very hard to describe.
Yeah. It's like the sweetest, most lovey, most intense sweetness you've ever felt in your life, yet the scariest, fucking most horrifying thing at the exact same time.
Right. You just feel so vulnerable.
Yeah. Vulnerable is a great word for it.
I also have so much more compassion for other people now, because I think of other people now as babies that grew up. Yeah. Where I used to think, oh, look at this asshole. And I just think, oh, that asshole used to be a little baby, like someone's little boy. And someone was carrying him and holding him, and he just got bad information, and now he's all fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I saw some homeless guy today. I was at a stoplight. He was wearing a bathrobe. The guy had a bathrobe and socks on. It's just dirty. It's fucked up. And I was looking at him. I'm like, that was someone's baby boy.
Yeah.
And now here he is, a guy in his 30s or 40s, whatever he was, just wandering around all fucked up and dirty with mental health problems, wearing a bathrobe. And I'm like, that used to be someone's boy.
Yeah. It's good for you to feel that way, but it's rough to live like that. You know?
Well, it's so hard when you look at all the problems in the world and all the people that are suffering from poverty and disease and strife and natural disasters and all these things. There's just so many people to care about and think about.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can become paralyzed with compassion.
Most definitely.
Just looking at all the problems of the world.
Yeah. And then the other side of it, the one that gets me a lot is like when you see parents, or you hear about parents, I haven't seen it a lot, but you hear about parents who just don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's like, this is a burden on me, and they avoid it and ditch it. When you look at your daughter's eyes, have you ever once in your life imagined being able to walk away from that?
No.
Fuck. That would kill me.
I heard a story about a lady who abandoned her kids the other day. I just couldn't imagine it. She abandoned her kids and wanted to start fresh, left the husband with the kids, just left.
Wow. And
I was just sitting there going, what in the fuck? And then the fires came and their fucking house burnt down.
Wow.
And so so here they are, the dad and the kids, daughters, and the mom fucking jet, and the guy's there, no house.
Fuck.
I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Man.
Yeah, man. It's rough, because you got to wonder, like, what is wrong with that person? Like, what kind of schizophrenia are they dealing with? What kind of mental health issues? Like, how could you do that? Like, how do you not, like, you think about what you experienced with your son, and I think about what I experienced with my daughters, and, like, how could you not want to be there for them? How could you not want to take care of them? How could you not want to love them?
There's some kind of disconnect, man.
Yeah, what happened? Well, I mean, you think about that poor girl who kept punching herself in the face because she thought she was falling. Like, there's obviously an issue there. Like, what other issues are there psychologically? What empathy issues, detachments, you know, sociopathy? Like, what's wrong with them that they can allow that in their life? It's, you know, it's almost too many people, man. It's almost too much to pay attention to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, legitimately, it's hard to say, but it is too much.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that and accept it, but it is. I mean, that's how a lot of people end up going crazy.
Yeah.
You know, paralyzed from fear or worry.
Yeah. That's where we comes in.
Yes. You just worry about other shit. Think about aliens. Aliens.
If you had to guess, I'll turn around on you. What do you think about aliens? Do you think Bob Lazar's telling the truth?
I
know you didn't look him in the eye because you weren't in the room with him.
Yeah, but I told you I'm the one of the creepers that watch the YouTube video. I'm that guy right there. So like, I sit at home. I don't really watch much TV. Like I'll sit at home and like stretch and watch these videos. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a whole new thing to it. Like it adds an element that I really like being able to see Miss Pat. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Fucking hilarious. Like the entire time I was like glued. There's everybody. I mean, I've never.
So funny when she talks about broke dudes are great at slinging dick.
You know what I love is Ari. Ari's subtleness, oh man, he's fucking hilarious.
Well, I would imagine that for like a guy who's doing such ruthless, fucking explosive shit like you're doing all the time, like comedy must be kind of important.
For sure, it's a huge release. Plus, I mean, like I like it, and a lot of my friends were that. Like, I was friends with a lot of guys at the Comedy Store, so I was around it. Like, I thought about doing it for a while. I know I'd have to dedicate so much to even be decent that I just couldn't do that. But like it's one of those things I like to.
Tate tried it for a little bit.
Yeah. I was with him. I was hanging out with him a lot when he was working on material and stuff. I remember he came over and he gave me this badass poncho one time. He just randomly came over to give me a poncho. And
sounds like Tate.
Yeah, and then he wanted to hang out, and we were sitting out on my deck, and he was working. We were just chilling. He's like, it's so cool. What's that quote? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yes.
That's Tate.
Yeah.
That's Tate.
Yeah.
You know? And that's similar to you. It's a lot of guys like that. You see a lot of these guys who are just they're built ready to go. You know, like if some shit went down, like I would happily stand next to you, you know? Like I'd feel like secure. But you don't have to worry about like if you come in here, you're not gonna have fake lat syndrome and flex up on somebody.
Not being an asshole.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the things you do see with fighters too. Is that most of them, in general, they're really nice people.
Yeah,
because they're not always puffing their chest out for no reason and acting like an asshole for no reason. They're nice folks.
Yeah,
they get all that shit out. They get it out in the gym.
And if you're a bad motherfucker, you don't have to act like a bad motherfucker.
Exactly.
You can just be you.
Exactly.
You know, that's why I wear pink chucks and strong and pretty shirts and shit. You know, like I don't have to act like I'm bad. I just do it.
Exactly. Well, no one's disputing it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like,
no online, they sometimes do. Online, of course.
Who are they? Are they even real?
That's the people I'm saying I'm not a doctor for.
Oh, for them. Yeah.
But for the aliens,
what do you think? If you had a bet, if you had $100, your last $100.
It's hard. If I had $100 and we were gonna find out, I'd say I'm leaning more toward yes than no.
I'm leaning more towards yes too.
I wasn't leaning before that interview. I wasn't though.
I wasn't before the documentary, that Jeremy Corbell documentary, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. Mm-hmm. Before that, I was like, mostly bullshit.
Is that one available? Like
Netflix. Yeah, okay. It's great.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
There's a lot of old Bob Lazar shit, too, from the George Knapp interviews where he goes over the details of the craft and he describes it and explains it. And that motherfucker knew about Element 115 in the 1990s.
That's one of the big ones that gets me. That's one of the big ones that's like, that's a big red flag that this dude's real.
There's a lot. Who knows? But there's a lot that makes me go,
Mm-hmm. I know you talk about this all the time, but I so fucking wish Sasquatch was real. I do, man. Every time I'm in Oregon or in Washington, I'm walking around. I buy all the little like roadside trinkets and shit. I love that shit. I wish he was fucking real, man.
It would be nice, but I think we would have found a dead one.
You would have. That's one of the ones I'm like 90% sure. You always got to give room. You always got to give room for the possibility.
The thing is, when people really believe and then go looking for it, they invest so much time in it, they start going crazy.
Yeah.
Like Survivor Man, Les Stroud.
Yes.
He's gone.
Gone.
He's gone. He's out there in the woods.
Yeah.
He's got a pup tent waiting for Bigfoot to knock on the fucking zippers.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. He's 100% believer now.
Yeah.
And he does that Survivor Man Bigfoot show where he's like, what? I heard a branch snap. Cut the commercial.
That's definitely a Squatch.
Yeah. Those shows are weird, man, because those shows have been on TV, like Surviving Bigfoot. Or Finding Bigfoot, rather. So Finding Bigfoot was on TV for 8 fucking years. They never found shit.
No.
Like, how the fuck do you keep renewing that show?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to breathe underwater. The show's called Breathing Underwater. Can you breathe underwater? Not yet.
Tune in next week.
Next season, though, we're going to try again to breathe underwater.
We'll figure this shit out, y'all. Just give us an off season. We'll get this.
I'm talking to these scientists. They're saying no one can breathe underwater. Not yet.
They don't know shit.
Trust me.
Honestly, South Louisiana, we got a guy. He breathes underwater.
If there was a Bigfoot, no one would be happier than me.
Dude, I'd be right there, though. I'd be so fucking stoked.
Imagine seeing it in a cage.
Yeah.
Just fucking trying to get out, looking around at people.
No, not cage, though. I want to see it like in
the forest?
Pick of Destiny, like the mushroom strip where he's like walking and singing with him.
Oh,
and Jack
right.
Black's Pick of Destiny. Pick of Destiny.
I would want to be there. I wouldn't want to see it with my own eyes.
For
a
sure.
video, I'd be like, man, I saw 80-foot tall Donald Trump with a Hillary Clinton head powering it, walking through a post-apocalyptic Philadelphia. You can't prove to me that video is real.
I need to see it.
I would shit my pants. I don't know what I would say though. If I was in the woods and I was camping and I saw a fucking 9-foot tall gorilla, I don't know what I would say.
You wouldn't. I mean, if you came back,
keep my mouth shut.
you'd probably have to.
Yeah, because you feel so stupid.
Yeah. Well, plus, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, say there is one out there. There's a lot of bullshit artists out there telling you they saw some shit. You know, a lot of people trying to get some camera time.
There can't be one though. If it's going to be a real thing, a living thing, there has to be a living
family.
Population of them. Yeah, because primates don't live that long. Like, I don't think there's a primate that lives any older than humans.
Yeah. We're just way into the weeds. We know it doesn't exist. So
most likely
sucks.
It doesn't exist. Yeah, as they get better and better at using drones and scanning the forest and stuff, it's getting less and less likely.
Yeah. I used to do that as a kid, though, walk out in the woods and look and hope he was around, you know?
Hope, yeah.
And when I was living in Oregon, I was like, Hell's Canyon is probably one of the least explored parts of Oregon. If he was anywhere, he'd be up there, you know?
Well, there's some dense-ass thick forests in the Pacific Northwest, which is one of the reasons why I think it's so attractive.
Yeah.
Because, you think, man, anything could be in here. No one knows.
Right.
You go outside of Philadelphia, or, Seattle, when you go into, what is it? What's the mountain out there? What's the St. Helens? St. Helens is the one that blew, but there's another one that anyway. Those big ass mountains filled with soup. The trees are so dense it's like a box of Q-tips.
Yeah,
just one after the other, bang, 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 bang,
yeah.
And the forest floor is all pine needles, so that nothing would leave a footprint.
Right.
And then you're like, what? If you saw something 30 yards away, it could disappear instantly. Left, right, you wouldn't know where the fuck it is. You'd never find it. And it could be out there. So I think that also leads to this delusional idea that it might be alive.
Right.
But I think it definitely was a real thing.
You think back in the day?
Yeah. They have that Gigantopithecus that they've proven was a real bipedal hominid that existed as recently as 100,000 years ago. And
in America?
No, it was in Asia. They found it in an apothecary shop. There was an anthropologist who was in an apothecary shop.
Right,
and they found teeth. And he was like, what the fuck is this? And they said, we found these. And he's like, where'd you find these? Because he recognized them as primate teeth. And then they started digging. They found jaw bones that were indicative of a bipedal hominid. Because of the shape of the jawbone, they could tell the difference between the way a gorilla's bones are shaped and the way ours are.
Yeah.
And they think it was in the orangutan family, that it was enormous. Some enormous fucking 8 to 10 foot tall bipedal ape.
Yeah. So stories that build into something. Yeah,
that's probably where the lore and the legend comes from. You never seen a picture of what it looks like?
I don't know. I remember you talking about it on here. I don't remember if I saw a picture.
Yeah, you could find it on Google. There's pictures of it standing next to a standard, 6 foot tall man, like what a regular sized man would be like, standing next to this giant ass fucking gorilla that really did live. It really did live, and it lived alongside people while people were real people. They know at least 100,000 years ago it was alive. That's what it looked like.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's a depiction of them. There's a few different versions of that. We'll get that other one with the arm up in the air, Jamie, in the lower right hand corner. No. Go up. Go. See those pictures? See that when you have those little pictures in the little windows below it? See the one with his arm up in the air? Yeah, click that one. That's the one.
Jesus.
That's what it looked like.
That shit will fuck you up. I bet you it was fast too.
Yeah.
Probably super fast.
But see how it's kind of like orangutan looking? That's what they think. They think it was kind of a member of the orangutan family.
Looks like my dad.
But it was a real thing. But it's just funny how like we want those things to be real.
Yeah.
We want mysteries to be real.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why you have to really worry or wonder whether or not someone's telling the truth, because the desire for something to be real is so strong.
Right.
Like UFOs.
Yep.
The same thing. People want to believe. God, so hard to be objective.
What about with all that stuff Hotep was saying on here? Because like a lot of it, he sounds like way more intelligent than I was expecting when I first turned it on. I didn't really know much about him. But then
you mean about Africans traveling the world in boats?
Well, about them being in America first, or about them like giving that technology to Rome. Like he said a lot of stuff that like, I mean, obviously, again, I'm a meathead, and I'm not like the smartest man on the planet, but he's made a lot of sense from what he was saying.
Well, for sure, when people think about Africa, they forget about Egypt.
Right.
And Egypt is one of the most fascinating and absolutely spectacularly advanced civilizations of all time. We have no idea how they built those structures. There's all this speculation about especially like the Great Pyramid. This a stunning technological and physical accomplishment that to this day baffles people.
Yeah.
That's Africa. So those people had boats, and we don't even know how long. I mean, Graham Hancock believes, and so does Robert Schoch and John Anthony West when he was alive, believes that those people were building those things tens of thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
That is like a spectacularly creative and innovative society that was most likely wiped out by some sort of global cataclysm around 12,000 years ago, and then everything after that was a rebuilding of past knowledge.
Right. So it would make sense if they had traveled to south parts of America, and then just basically everything got wiped out, and so they're working from a fresh start in America, and then over on this side they don't have the information about that because they all got wiped out.
Well, it certainly makes sense when you look at the Olmecs. Those giant stone heads that look like African faces.
Right.
I mean, they look exactly like Africans. And these are heads that came from thousands and thousands of years ago in a civilization, the Olmecs, that they know very little about. Yeah.
So I felt like I was crazy for thinking he wasn't crazy for some of the shit he was saying.
Well, it's like the history of humans is something that becomes more. It unveils itself over time, and the more they're starting to find new things, like there was something of there was some ancient castle that they just discovered that used to be underwater. That's like 3,500 years old. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the receding floodwaters.
Yeah. They found like, what the fuck is this? They don't even know what it is. So 3,500 years ago, long before Europeans ever came to America, these people had built this fucking castle that is now underwater. You know, like the sea levels rise and fall. That's it. Yeah. Whereas I think it's in Iraq. Oh yeah, it is in Iraq. Yeah. So they found these ancient. Now Iraq is also where Sumer was. That's the earliest known civilization in terms of the earliest known writing, the earliest known agriculture and mathematics. That's Sumer. That's Epic of Gilgamesh. All that shit came from that part of the world. So there's all sorts of stuff that was probably lost in that, thousands and thousands of years of history. It's amazing. It's so fascinating to be there. Just like this place that I was in Italy. There's a church in Ravello that's 1,000 years old, and below the church, there's a glass floor of the church. There's pictures of it on my Instagram. And there's a glass floor of the church, and below the glass floor is another church that's so old they don't even know when it was built.
Oh wow!
So it's more that's it. That's from my Instagram.
That's so fucking cool.
So that they have it like blocked off, and they put a glass floor over it so you could look down and see it, because they don't want people to tread on it and fuck with it. But the church itself, the church that you could walk around in, is 1,000 years old.
Right.
It's like, what?
And we're working off information that's basically just been since we started writing things down.
Yeah.
Like, we've got this little short time period where we started writing things down. I mean, acting almost as though that was the beginning of time.
You have to take people's word for it.
Exactly.
There's no pictures, no video.
And the same thing with the aliens and the Sasquatch. There's some things that you want to believe. So you throw that in there.
Yeah. And history was written by the winners.
Exactly.
So a bunch of lying assholes that killed everybody. Like,
we are the champions,
my friends.
My son loves that song. Between that one and "We Will Rock You," we were in a limo yesterday. He was like, "Put on 'We Will Rock You," so I'm cranking "We Will Rock You." My 3-year-old's in the back, boom, boom. He's so excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's when you think about fucking classic songs, man. Queen had a gang of classic songs that just
worldwide
to this day that are used at basketball games and football games all over the world.
Yeah, huge. Such an icon.
Yeah, John Jones came out to "We Are the Champions." Yeah,
this last one.
Yeah,
nice. I didn't get to see the fights. How did I know John went to? It was a split decision, right?
Yeah, it was
how did that fight
man? Fucking Thiago Santos is dangerous. He hit John with some big shots, fucked his legs up with kicks to the point where John had to be carried out.
Yeah.
When he walked out of the octagon, they were carrying him.
Wow.
He couldn't walk. His legs were fucked up. That guy kicked the shit out of his legs. Yeah. And Thiago blew his knee out somewhere in the first, we believe.
Oh,
he threw a kick and blew his ACL out, but never even winced.
Dude.
He hobbled around on that knee and just kept throwing kicks with it and everything.
That's fucking crazy.
It was an awesome fight.
You think he fought again? I'm not projecting anything. I didn't get to see the fight. Did he fight well enough to
suffered extensive damage to left knee?
He had surgery already.
Out for the rest of 2019.
Oh shit! Well, then there goes the question. I was gonna say, do you think he earned another shot?
Well, he definitely did.
He proved he was worthy.
Yeah, he had a split decision. What? What's up?
Complete ligaments torn in his left knee.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. Yeah, we kind of saw it looking at it. Yeah. Showed his left knee meniscus and all his ligaments are completely torn. Wow. The meniscus and all the ligaments.
That's brutal.
Jesus Christ.
And he still stood in there for 4 fucking rounds.
He needed surgery on his right knee earlier this year. Also suffered damage during the fight. As he compensated for his left knee. Oh, man. So he doesn't even know if he might need tests on his right knee as well.
Jesus.
But you know what? The good news is the UFC doctors are the top of the food chain. They'll fill that motherfucker up with stem cells and do everything they can to rebuild some of that inner tissue.
Good. He deserves it. If you're going to stand in there and put it all on the line like that, give that man his fucking stem cells.
If they fight again, John Jones fucking power doubles him, takes him to the ground.
Wrestle.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was shocked that he didn't do it.
I read I don't know if it was on his page or on one of like MMA Junkie or something, but he said that it was pride. He didn't want to do that.
It's crazy.
That's John though.
But pride almost cost him the title.
Yeah.
Like what if Thiago clipped him and dropped him in the 3rd round, and then he won that round on all the judges' scorecards, and then he won a decision?
Yeah. He almost lost the title because of it.
Crazy. I mean, I don't agree necessarily with the guy who gave it to Thiago. I'd have to watch it and see how they thought it, and because when you're calling a fight, I'm trying to be entertaining. I'm looking for patterns, but I'm not really scoring it.
Right.
To score it, I think you have to do it in silence.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd have to see whether or not I agreed with them, but it was definitely close. It was definitely interesting, and a lot more interesting than a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought John was going to blow him out of the water.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I've messed around just like bro, pushing him around and stuff like that, and he's way stronger than I would expect.
Oh, he's strong as fuck,
strong
man.
As shit.
He took Daniel Cormier down,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a motherfucker, dude. And I think when he goes up to heavyweight, he's going to be even stronger, and I think that's probably what's going to happen next with John.
Well, yeah, he fucking should. When are Stipe and the Daniel fighting?
That's out here in August.
August.
That is, that's in August, and that's at Anaheim.
Yeah. That'd be, oh, man.
DC and Stipe too. That should be very interesting too.
I don't even know who to root for because I fucking love Stipe. I love him, but like I feel like I have to love Daniel because everyone else, for no fucking reason, doesn't. Like
they do now.
You think they're more and more? He's getting more love.
Turned.
Good.
The tide's turned.
Because he fucking deserves it. You know. I mean. He's a bad motherfucker.
Especially when he knocked out Stipe with one punch. That turned the tide.
Nice. Good for him.
When he beat Anthony Johnson, that turned the tide. People get it now.
Yeah.
For a while, though, they were like looking at him like he's illegitimate.
Yeah, that's absurd. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the world of MMA. Pettis versus Diaz is on that card, too. And Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa. I can't take it.
Shit.
Woo! All right, brother, let's wrap this up. It's already 3 o'clock. We've been doing this for 3 hours.
Holy
Isn't
shit.
that crazy?
Yeah.
Time flies. So tell people again when the show is on the History Channel.
We're on Wednesday nights. It's Strongest Man in History with me, myself, and Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, and Nick Best. You can check me out on Instagram, just Robert Oberst, Oberst. That's it.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother. That was awesome, man. A lot of fun. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.